Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio.
I broke him. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that breaks the host mid-sentence.
The only show that can't laugh. I'm your host, Ryan IC. With me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing on this fine Sunday morn?
I slept like poop. We're not far enough onto YouTube, so I don't want to ruin the algorithm yet. Otherwise, I had some other choice words for it. There's a lot going on all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but there's a lot which is pretty cool. I have some jokes saved up and ready to go for throughout the show. It was a weird week. I didn't have to watch many things because one, didn't wake up for Dominion. LOL. Two, and you know why I didn't want to wake up for Dominion? Because I
started.
Because I recorded Stardom Road, which everyone can check out this Tuesday. I recommend on the YouTube channel because it's another tier list situation, and it's always more fun to watch those. I think you can see the finished product. We also recorded a damn commercial for Ryan, so he leaves me alone for the rest of the time.
I have been asking for that Stardom Road commercial.
It's been a year.
Probably at least a year, right?
Yeah. You know what? It was a fun running gag. Kind of sad it's over. Well, not really. It wasn't really fun because every time you said it, I was like, "Oh shit, I need to do that," and then I just never did it. But yeah, that's it. I have many things to say, and that's that. Ryan, how are you? How was your Cheez-It?
Oh,
did we talk about that on this show? I don't know.
I don't remember if we talked about it on the show, but last week
that would be funny if we did.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about it on the show, but last week, Scotty and I, at least I believe after the show, typically my Sunday routine is I record Ring Post Radio and then I'll go out and get lunch. And for whatever reason, it's typically a little T-Bell, a little Taco Bell. And this one was interesting because if you don't know Scotty, I'm at this point, obviously, you know, because we talked about it last week. But if our audience doesn't know, Taco Bell is back in the lab yet again. They're coming at you live with new innovations in the Taco Bell scene. And what those innovations were a 16
pound
size. Oh. No, not pound, thank God. But a 16 times size
Arc.
You haven't prepped. Cheez-It for our YouTube listeners. Our visual listeners, a giant Cheez-It. So my wife and I ordered the tostada, which if you can pull that picture back up, Scotty, the tostada is the one on the left. The Crunchwrap Supreme version is basically the Crunchwrap Supreme, but with a giant Cheez-It in it.
That was a lot thicker.
I wish it was thicker. We had it. We ordered it. My wife had to wait 8 minutes in the parking lot for it to arrive.
Unbelievable.
And we ate it, and it looked like crap. It looked garbage. I sent you the video, Scotty.
Yeah, I need to listen. I know you have the first-hand experience, but I need everyone to know my experience of seeing this Cheez-It eaten. All-timer video. My new holy grail is watching Ryan and his wife eat this thing because, folks, they were not happy about it when they opened that box. Look at that thing. You can't tell me that looks good at all. And I've seen other videos of said Cheez-It. I don't know if you have. I don't know if you've seen other videos.
I mean, I've seen the advertising for it. And
I've just accidentally seen people eat it, and it always looks way better than the one you had. The one you had looked like legitimate. I'm not gonna say it, but it looked like I would not have eaten it just based on the look itself.
We're 6
Does-
minutes in, so I think YouTube's clear, right? I think we're clear on the YouTube.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
looked like 2 packs of ass and an extra ass, you know? Like, it was
On top, notably, with lettuce on top. There
yeah.
was a lot of lettuce. Um,
There was a lot of sour cream. You can't see it in the picture I just showed you,
yeah,
but
Ryan
there is
died himself on the sour cream.
a plethora of sour cream.
There's no sour cream in that picture. That's incredible.
It's
Yeah,
right-
Ryan.
If I zoom in, it's that.
Ryan was prepared to retire, I think, from this show. The Cheez-It really ended him. It was like I was, I love Cheez-Its. I love Cheez-Its.
Me too.
Big
I'm a
guy.
big Cheez-It guy. We're a big Cheez-It household.
But my thinking always was this idea. Shout out to the Ring Post Radio folks. We will talk about wrestling eventually. But
No, this is more important.
this is the Cheez-It Post Radio.
How do I change all of our colors to be orange?
My thoughts about Cheez-Its have always been, I like them as is, as Cheez-Its. Why would I want them in anything else? Now, Ryan, you said it stunk. 2 packs of ass.
Yes.
Would it have tasted better with the Cheez-It Ranch I showed you?
Oh, yes. You also showed me Cheez-It, Hidden Valley Cheez-It Ranch. And you showed a video that basically was like, actually, it's when you eat cheeses and this, it's better. I think is what the video was.
Yeah. The guy had Cheez-Its in his hand. He's holding it like this, most uncomfortable look of all time, right? Because he's doing it for the camera. Puts the Cheez-It Ranch on the Cheez-Its, and then just. Sorry, did you see that?
Yeah.
And then he loved it, and I was like, that seems disgusting.
Yeah,
How about you?
It was pretty bad. I don't know if it would have been better. Here, we'll change our. This is the Cheez-It pod. I'll change our branding on StreamYard. God, I have to figure out how to undo that. There we go. Yeah, the Cheez-It conversation that's happening right now. It wasn't great. Would the ranch have made it better? I think this is how I would feel about it, Scotty. And this is maybe also a personal thing of everybody else. I think I liked it less because I hate sour cream. And I just bit into the biggest wad of sour cream. And if it was ranch instead, Cheez-It Ranch specific, maybe it could have been better. I don't know, obviously, but it certainly couldn't have been worse. It was real bad. We have my wife and I has a 3-minute video that we put together of us eating and giving our immediate thoughts on the Cheez-It. Whoo! It was not good. Other than that, I watched Furiosa last night. But yeah, great movie. I think it's time we get back to the show, right? I think we have a wrestling to discuss. A lot of stuff and a lot of wrestling news and topics to discuss, despite being a light week in terms of wrestling, and more like we got a lot of previews and a lot of news.
Nailed that, man.
Of course, Christy Ozavi in the chat. This is wrestling. The fuck you mean? Correct. I mean, I was wrestling with the Cheez-It. I think that's the through line here. So let's get to it. We'll start off. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, obviously, like we always do. But we'll start off here with more contract news.
What?
And contract news that we're gotten. I'll start with this, as this is probably the least interesting contract news. But I think it's a good start to get into the next bit, which is last week we talked about how Chad Gable, one of many people in WWE their contract is up. Despite his contract being up and all these sort of things, he has a match this weekend at Clash of the Castle. So
will his contract expire like right now?
To my knowledge, let's see, it's set to expire imminently, is what Sean Ross Sapp has stated, and he stated that May 30th, so about a week ago. A little more than a week ago. That feels like that is expired now, but who knows?
Expired. Sorry.
But WWE has apparently made quote unquote made an excellent offer, according to Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer. and AEW has interest if his deal expires, which is interesting. This is from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, I believe this past Friday, where he said in that past Friday, AEW has interest if his deal expires, which according to Dave is me reading into it as his deal hasn't expired yet, despite Sean Ross Sapp over a week ago saying it's expiring imminently, and of course Gable having a match this Saturday at Clash of the Castle. So AEW has interest in him, but his contract's not expired yet.
AEW has interest in every person on Earth, to be fair.
That's also true, but I feel like also like a lot of these like people that like you hear about contract news are either like big stars or big work ratey guys, like Chad Gable.
That is AEW in a nutshell.
Exactly right. So we talked about last week a little bit how there's the rumor, there's this conspiracy theory that this is all part of a WWE PR move to, we think we have these people in the bag. Obviously, WWE is letting it go that his contract is expiring soon, even though we're still using him in prominent spots on television, and there's an active storyline with him, and he has a title match this Saturday. His contract's expiring soon. And the PR idea, the belief with all this stuff is that, we have him in the bag. He's going to sign a new contract when his deal expires, yada, yada, yada. And WWE is trying to make it seem like they are great at retaining and picking up big wins in the free agent market, unlike they did with Ospreay, Monet, and Okada. That's the PR theory. We talked about that a little bit. We alluded to that a little bit last week. And with Gable, his contract expiring imminently over a week ago, according to Fightful, and according to Dave this Friday, hasn't yet really, and he has a match this Saturday. My belief is he's not leaving at all, and I think that's completely fair to say.
I think before that match against Sammy, he signs. If he's not already, as of this recording.
Sure.
I think I feel pretty confident about that. You're not letting him go in the push of his career. Had this been 5 months ago, no, that's probably not a good time. Maybe. He comes off the hot matches with Gunther, gets himself a nice contract somewhere, maybe. But now he's in the, he's locked in. He's one of the top performers on Raw all of a sudden. I don't see him going anywhere. Would have loved to, especially but he's doing really good work. Like, out of all the WWE stuff I see, he's doing the best work for the most part. So it makes sense to want to keep him, unlike someone else who seems to have gotten the cojones to get the hell out. Cojones is the correct word?
I would say so. I would say.
Right. I don't know what that means, but I've always heard it.
Well, cojones would probably apply to like Prince Puma. I don't know if it applies to this next guy.
Nice. That was good.
So a new report that also came out. So I'm teasing up this idea of, the WWE PR play of, setting up the idea that, their contracts are expiring soon so they can get wins in the free agent market. Really, it's not really free agents because their contracts seemingly don't expire before they get renewed by WWE and with whatever wrestler. And they're just basically being able to retain all of the wrestlers, which is kind of good, but also kind of, whatever, I guess. It's not a sinking ship, I guess. That's the presentation, the PR thing.
WWE is not a sinking ship. Breaking news.
Yeah, late breaking news. And then yesterday night, PW Insider reported that Ricochet is telling WWE, has given notice to WWE that he will not be returning following his current contract's expiration. It was recently revealed that his contract expires this summer. Don't know exactly when this summer, but sometime this summer.
It is now summer.
It is currently summer, so maybe next week, maybe August, who knows? So yeah, Ricochet, and what's interesting to me about this, and maybe if you want to be more conspiracy theorist, maybe this is a new level. WWE has found out that the PR machine has been found and they're changing it. But what the difference here to me is that Whereas before, it sort of feels like WWE revealing contracts are almost expired. This feels like straight up a wrestler telling a news outlet, my contract expiring, and I am intending to leave WWE. What are your thoughts on Ricochet right now?
I think I have many thoughts. I don't know if it's about the guy himself. It's about certain fans. There's a few.
Ooh.
It was like a month ago when it was first reported Ricochet become a free agent in the summer, or his contract set to expire. Not for sure if he's going to be a free agent. I remember a lot of fans saying, "Oh, who cares about Ricochet? He's not the same guy he used to be." Interesting. I go back on Twitter last night. Those same fans were pretty hyped about Ricochet all of a sudden. Crazy what happens when someone says he's leaving the WWE. Now, here's what I will say about Ricochet. It's very interesting to me because we know, I think you and me both know and agree that Ricochet is capable of being a special pro wrestler, right? He's shown it many times. He's still only 35 years old somehow, despite being around forever. Dude's been wrestling in like the highest level, like a notable promotion, Dragon Gate, since 2010. He also appeared in like Ring of Honor in 2009. He's been going at it for a long time. He's been seen as one of the best talents in the world for a long time.
But also, I will also say that, Buddy here real quickly to say that we also talked about last week how we're not going to, if he was able to go back on free agency and go pop up in AEW or New Japan or something, we're probably not going to get Dragon Gate Ricochet. We're not going to get New Japan because this guy is 10 years older at this point.
Yeah, he's refined. But here's what you are going to get. I'm going to say now, you're going to get Will Ospreay versus Ricochet because there's no one on this earth, I think, that wants Ricochet out of WWE more than Will Ospreay. I don't think this guy could talk about him any more than he already does. He already tweeted at him last night, "Hey, buddy, let's go." It's like that's where they're going. I'm sure Tony Khan wants him too. If I was to think of a wrestler that fits the Tony Khan mold, Ricochet is one. Ricochet, still very good talent. It'll be interesting to see what he could do. I saw a lot of people like dream matching a lot of the PWG stuff he had and redoing it on AEW television, like the Matt Sydal, whatever, against the Young Bucks and company. I don't remember what it was. I'm just saying it to say it. But like a lot of people got excited. I was like, that's good. Just I remember when a lot of people weren't excited all of a sudden. So I don't want to hear. You could do Johnny TV versus Ricochet. Is that exciting to you?
Well, that would 100% be like a collision or like a Dynamite collision, like Rampage. It's gonna be booked at some point. Johnny, you're AEW. You gotta book Johnny TV versus Ricochet.
Sorry, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks against Matt Sydal, Ricochet, and Will Ospreay. That was the one that a lot of people.
Would it be Ricochet? Don't they have the trademark on Ricochet?
No, I don't think he gave it up. I would hope not. Pretty dumb.
I feel like he might have.
He might have. We could do Ricochet and any sort of group. Put him and Matt Sydal together. Have a good tag team for once in this division.
Matt Sydal was tag teaming with Daniels, and now Daniels.
Matt Sydal still rocks, by the way. I just want everyone to know that. There's a lot of things you could do, but I feel pretty confident Ricochet is going to AEW. If he does leave, no, I think if he does leave, because listen, this could always be a ploy to get a bigger contract.
This could be announcing to PW Insider. This, of course, was Mike Johnson from PW Insider who had this report. This all could just be a ploy to be like, excuse me. I'm cracking up. I'm breaking up over here because of how emotional this gets me. This could all be a ploy by Ricochet to be like, I don't like how the money offer the WWE is giving me right now. I'm going to tend to leave. And then maybe last minute being like, I don't know, we'll keep you. And here's more money. It could be all that, to be fair.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't rule that out. I'm very interested to see what happens. Does AEW need more wrestlers? No.
Do they need more wrestlers that are gonna bump your Dante Martins down the list? No.
No. But are they gonna get one? Probably. They should announce Ricochet for the G1. That's
The TBD, the aforementioned TBD,
yes.
the G1, which we'll get to obviously momentarily.
One thing that does intrigue me is who ultimately leaves AEW, because if you sign another talent, it's like, all right, we have even more overload. And that's gonna happen. It's just natural. That's the beauty of today's wrestling, right? It's not just a monopoly of one company anymore. Instead, it's a monopoly of two.
Not monopoly, but a diopoly. Is that
yeah,
something?
maybe it. Yeah. Well, I was just it's still two over everyone, but I guess that's the intriguing part when a WWE free agent considers leaving.
Duopoly. That's what it's called.
Duopoly. Duop. Is that anything? And Pentagon's leaving or something, right?
Yeah, we'll get to Pentagon momentarily, but my last thought about this is that, like, obviously, if you're AEW, you're bringing Ricochet, you're bumping down other people on the card, which is, I don't think, a good spot. Do they need Ricochet? I don't necessarily think they do, but it's a guy that, yeah, you should bring in. You should undoubtedly bring in if he's available. And yeah, he can help mentor the next level of like high flying guys as well too. So that'll be interesting. I don't know. I at the same time, like, movement is good. Ricochet is the WWE Speed Champion currently, so who cares about this title? And I don't necessarily. If he's intending to leave, then he doesn't care about this title.
Well, it's not his anymore. So
Did he lose the Speed title?
he lost it to Andrade on a taping.
Andrade is the Speed Champion. Oh God, he left AEW. Talk about movement. Going to AEW and becoming the WB, the Twitter champion. Good on Andrade.
See, you want to have my hot take? I don't give a hell that he left AEW. Because he doesn't like. He's not a TV wrestler. Okay, someone had a great thing saying Andrade would be a great territories wrestler because when he gets bored, he can move on.
Correct.
But him and CMLL, WWE took that away from me. Yeah. It was special. It was a special few weeks. That hurts me more.
Speaking about people, maybe wrestling in CMLL, I doubt it. But new other contract.
I highly doubt it.
Other contract news that came up this week is Pentagon in AEW. Apparently, according to news breaking from Lucha Libre Online, that Pentagon, his current contract in AEW, is expiring sometime this late summer, either August or September. And WWE is interested. They said, and of course, this is a translation, so mind you, Pentagon Jr.'s contract of AEW is scheduled to expire between August and September 2024. He is scheduled to become a free agent. There is interest on the part of WWE in his services. This free agency will be extremely interesting. It was then also stated that Tony Khan, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, Tony Khan is confident that Pentagon will stay with AEW. And I remember seeing another report. I don't remember if it was from Dave or somebody else saying that Pentagon has international things he's interested in. I think it might have been a Lucha blog post.
It was
where
blog.
He has interests internationally that he wants to do in his career before he hangs up the boots. So the question is, Scotty, what are these international interests? Are they going to WWE? Are they, or rather, are they going to New Japan, a company that, because of his affiliation of AAA, was never possible? And now that, as we'll get to in a moment, things are a little bit, I don't want to say looser, but a little cleaner in terms of a pathway of Mexican wrestlers via AEW to New Japan potentially, at least when it comes to Forbidden Door. Now that there seems to potentially be a pathway if he becomes completely free agent, he's no longer working in AAA. That also came out this week officially. Is New Japan his pathway? Or, like we said, is it going to be WWE?
Well, to be fair, real quick here,
Speaking about Lucha Underground legends.
I think last night at a CMLL show, Dorada and the Beast Mortos were in the same match.
The Beast Mortos was in CMLL. Hold
Which-
on, I didn't know
No,
that.
it was a CML branded show, but it wasn't CMLL. And Lucha Blog specifically said this doesn't mean the Beast Mortos will work CMLL, but it means that they're allowing their wrestlers to work with former AAA talent, AEW talent. Well, he's an AEW talent now.
AEW talent that are former AAA talent. There's also a question which we'll talk about when we talk about this sort of relationship thing of can current AAA talent who are signed to AEW work, that sort of thing. But go on.
So that's something just to put out there in terms of these relationship and where it's going. Talking about Penta. There was a lot of talk about Penta this week on that damn app. We're gonna keep it just a contract because it was not worth diving into. I don't see him in WWE. Like I try to imagine it, just doesn't make sense to me. Ultimately, both top companies, we've heard this for years, right? Oh, we want to make a new top Hispanic star. I have yet to see either company make a top Hispanic star, and they have all the talent in the world, right? WWE's got Dragon Lee, obviously.
You're talking at least modern Hispanic.
I'm talking about, like
Rey
they have
Mysterio.
yet to, right, but they've yet to push them like that. Both companies have the talent. Goes without saying. Obviously, WWE has Andrade now, but he's busy on WWE speed. And AEW has Phoenix, Bandito, Penta, Roosh. Who else? Is that it? Maybe not. They have the influx of CMLL now too.
The Beast Mortos.
My point is, the Beast Mortos. My point is, I think both companies have like that guy you should push as like the next top, masked star. Really, I think WWE has Dragon Lee, which makes a lot of sense. Dragon Lee's still great, and AEW has Bandito, who's been hurt. So I'll give them a little slack there, even though when he wasn't hurt, he was not doing much. I'll give them slack for that one for now. But that brings me to Penta. Penta's not gonna fit that role, and I think that does matter. Like WWE can have interest, but I don't know what he offers them the way they book without his brother.
Correct. I mean, look at him in AEW. It's all brother. It's all him and Phoenix.
It's all brother. Yeah, no, you're right, because that was the conversation this week. Not again. I have to bring it up now. That was the conversation this week.
The elephant in the room of the conversation about Pentagon this week on Twitter and people being upset about various things, I think plays a part in what is the value of Pentagon.
Yeah. So people are talking about the singles Penta, and you and me came to the agreement. It's like when you're over saying one thing and you don't have to try, it doesn't matter, right? It's like Penta doesn't have to go out there and have the bloody masked match that he had at AAA 2 years ago. He doesn't need to. He can, but he doesn't need to. That's why he does. He does Cerro Miedo and does some cool moves, and
because AEW is a mid card wrestler,
right?
He has that. He has that next gear. But he never needs to really hit that next gear in AEW.
No, and they're not going to put him into that spot. If they did, I think you'd see a different Penta, truthfully. And maybe that is something WWE would promise him. I doubt it, but maybe it would be. And maybe that changes his mind. Mm-hmm. But when he does matter most in the world now of wrestling is when he's teaming with Phoenix. Lucha Bros is still one of the best tag teams in the world, and I think that value to them probably means more than necessarily just Penta alone. Maybe that's why they would sign Penta with the hope Phoenix would follow. That is not I love Pentagon. I'll say that when Pentagon's on his game, he's awesome. There's few like him. The brawler luchador, he's great at it.
Completely agree.
some of his best matches are just amazing. So I'm never gonna discount him. I don't see the connection with WWE making much sense right now. I understand they probably just want to sign people, and Penta's a no name. He has a cool look. He would be but for me, I think he stays. And if this international whatever that he wants to do perhaps involves New Japan, maybe the G1.
TBT?
I'm interested. Because I think if anything would be of kind of out of left field, New Japan would be one of them. And I feel like it would be new and fresh for him that he would go all out and be Penta. He'd be Pentagon, not Penta El Cerro Miedo. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah, I love Pentagon as a wrestler. He is like we said, he is a great next gear brawling luchador. One of the best brawling luchadors I think probably. Well, Roosh is in there as well. Now that I think about it, Roosh is also in there. And I do love me a Roosh. But he's definitely up there as one of the best brawling luchadors today. Maybe one of the best brawling wrestlers today. But the problem is with like AEW, and I think that's sort of the conversation that happened this week online, is that he is presented in AEW as a tag team wrestler and a sort of mid-card single guy who rarely picks up big wins. He picks up wins, but rarely picks up big wins. Now, despite that, he's also insanely over because he is also one of the best vibes wrestlers of all time. You see him, and he just oozes charisma and coolness.
What you know about Pentagon Jr. versus Black Lotus triad?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lucha Underground, baby. So like he just oozes all these sort of things.
Yeah.
But in AEW, he's never presented as like a serious threat when it comes to singles competition, which I think is sort of a disappointment. I would love for him to be pushed more, but that they just seemingly have no interest in doing so. But and to the same extent, when you also have Phoenix in the same sphere, it's hard not to look at Phoenix and be like, let's push that guy as the singles guy. You know what I mean?
I think
like
AEW
Lucha Underground, they didn't make them brothers, so it was easy to keep them separated, which is
sure.
a smart booking decision.
But here's my hot take. I think you missed the boat with Penta because he was such an easy heel, especially in early AEW to me. Because AEW wasn't packed with talent like it is now. So he would have really stood out. And yes, you have the Phoenix comp, but it's very easy to separate them for a while. And he starts breaking arms again, right? They teased it with Cody Rhodes, and then they just got rid of it within a match. And I think that was like, all right, there goes his single stuff.
There was the Penta Oscura character, which was supposed to be that next level of violence, but also was never that.
It just had the nerd with them. I can't think of the guy's name.
Alex Abrahantes?
Yeah.
He had a shovel. That was the addition. Is that
it would be a very sad world if somehow the Lucha Bros and Santana Ortiz, one member of each tag team, just out of the company. They never got to run that rivalry back, which is an incredible rivalry that spanned over multiple places. Like that'd be a shame. But in the end, despite me saying all that, I do love Pentagon. And if this could work out, I would love to see this turn into a push for him. Truthfully, they did put him on Rampage yesterday and gave him a singles win. I know he lost to Takeshi like last week, but you flip the switch and you could turn him in seconds.
To our point, like he is not a big singles threat when it comes to like the mid-card title. Like he'll win a match on Rampage, but then he'll also lose to the bigger star, Takeshita, arguably.
Yeah, who would then lose to the bigger star, someone else. That's how this AEW branching works.
Yeah. Now, there are a couple things I want to say. Number one, this isn't the first time that there's the rumor that they were going to WWE. In 2018, there was this rumor that him and Phoenix were leaving Impact, leaving MLW, somehow getting out of their Lucha Underground contract, maybe being bought out or whatever, and then going to WWE. And that was probably squashed within like 2 weeks or so. So this is another one of those instances of another tease of, they're going to WWE. the question is, do they want to? The report afterwards of do they want to was, oh, we're not going to WWE anytime soon. Obviously, that's now 5 years later, 6, 7, whatever it is, 6, 7 years later, maybe now's the time. Number two, if he goes in WWE, there is a long history of how they treat Mexican wrestlers. And currently, all of the Mexican wrestlers are basically in one faction or two separate factions, right?
Yeah, Legado and LWO. And then Andrade's by himself.
Yeah, Andrade's the only one by himself, and he came in, and what was the immediate story with him?
Bingo.
Which faction do you want to be in? So that's the sort of issue with this is
Penta doesn't fit into that usual role.
No,
he won't. They have specifically. It's a bad role nonetheless.
Because Penta works as he is too cool and too charismatic to be able to do all these sort of things.
See, what we are highlighting is the problems of handling Penta. That's what we're doing. People will be like, well, maybe. No, he doesn't need to try. There's no reason for him to if he's just going to lose every match. He try. You know when he tries? When it's the Lucha Bros.
Yes, which is fair. But also what's interesting is that like the point of like he doesn't really need to try. Not to say that he obviously doesn't try or anything when he goes out and wrestle, but the idea of like he doesn't need to go into the gear. Also, because he's also, as we saw on the internet, still incredibly over.
Yeah.
Right? Like as a talent. Like he doesn't need a win all the time, and he's still incredibly over. There's, if anything, there's an argument of you're leaving money on the table with Pentagon. If anything, that's the bigger argument. But I also don't think WWE is the company that can tap into that. Now, there's the third point, which is the international topic of him going to Japan and working New Japan? Obviously, you know, if Phoenix can get out of this too or whatever, them working World Tag League is a thing. But also we have G1 around the corner, all the stuff happening as the G1 conversations happening right now with participants. You also see TBDs, which feel like, I think they even said that those TBDs were play-in matches.
Yeah, it's a tournament type thing.
Which I heard play-in matches, and I'm looking at AEW. I'm like, man, that's an AEW move if I've ever seen one. But I also like play-in matches as ideas, like international wrestlers. But there's something to like, maybe this thing is Pentagon wants to work in New Japan. Maybe that's the international interest that he has. What are your thoughts on Pentagon in New Japan if that's where he goes after this contract, or this new contract allows him to work in New Japan?
I'm not going to count on it. Just because he was in AAA in April. You know, that's a little too recent for because AEW making it work is very different from New Japan making it work. New Japan doesn't have any Mexican wrestlers that aren't under the CMLL banner work for them.
Yes. So
that's it's more serious with them, I think. And it's hard for me to grasp would it happen. I would love if it happened. First and foremost, I think Penta in the world of a New Japan, or hell, even in Noah, would be very interesting, because we do know AAA wrestlers work in Noah. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. Hello, he was the champion. So I think that would be
Psycho Clown popped up for no reason.
Yeah. Also, hot take, maybe Noah's better than New Japan right now. But I am interested in whatever this international thing is. It's just hard for me to believe in New Japan fully because I don't know where he stands as much, right? Because again, Ray Phoenix hasn't worked AAA since 2022. That's a lot of time. It's been less than 2 months for Pentagon, so that's where I hesitate. But I hope maybe something's worked out, like we've talked about, because it would be an interesting world. I think he would thrive with his style there. And again, as we've been saying, charisma alone gonna get him over.
Yeah, you mean a cool, charismatic, masked wrestler that has wrestled in Mexico isn't going to get over in New Japan? Have you seen the Dominion main event? Like it's
True.
he'll be super over in New Japan. I think
He's got the full
he's-
package
Mhm.
in terms of that. As much as people want to debate, he's still a great wrestler. He's still charisma out the door, cool look. Everything works for Penta. So I do hope that happens. I'm not going to count on it because it's so weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Me trying to guess how this is working, even after Dave reported things, Dave still doesn't know.
Mhm.
He knows like Phoenix works because he saw it on Wednesday, right? We saw it on Wednesday. Roosh was on that show, which,
When was the last time Roosh worked AAA?
who the hell knows? But probably less recently than Penta.
Yeah,
Right?
I would assume less recently than Penta. He did work
Last year.
Last year, 2023, August, that hair versus mask 4-way at AAA.
So I feel kind of good about that then. Like, that's why he's working. Penta's a very different one. He's still working there. I mean, he's not on the upcoming Triple Mania show, but as far as I'm concerned, he's still part of it.
And like I said, they've been doing a lot of PR blasts with Pentagon right now. He's not in there anymore. He's not working in AAA anymore.
Right.
So they're working on separating him from AAA right now. But I understand what you're saying, that maybe it's the conversation with CMLL has always been built around the idea of trust, and maybe the idea of it being too soon with Pentagon.
And New Japan's as loyal as anyone.
Yeah, where CMLL it's trust, New Japan's loyalty. Loyalty has obviously been built up with Tony Khan and AEW, so maybe there's a pathway of Pentagon and New Japan, but CMLL, all these sort of things, I mean, I think that's a wait and see. So I guess we kind of been dancing around.
Oh,
go ahead.
No. I got more free agent news.
You have more free agent news? I don't have this news.
Yeah. Someone was at GLEAT today.
Was it Natalia? Is Natalia gone and she's working GLEAT?
Natalia was not at GLEAT today.
Ah, darn it. Oh. Okay. If you are just a audio listener, if you're just the podcast listener, Scotty on the screen has put a picture of, I assume from the latest GLEAT show, which was last night?
I believe it was today, yes.
Of Katsuhiko Nakajima sitting with, I don't know who the other gentleman was.
That is the LIDET president, Hiroyuki Suzuki.
Which, of course, I believe is the company that owns GLEAT or oversees GLEAT.
Yes.
So Nakajima and GLEAT. Interesting. Guess
that WWE contract wasn't offered.
I thought he was a shoo-in. I thought he was going to WWE. Everyone told me this. Everyone and every free agency says, "Oh, he's going for the freaking WWE." Is he not? I guess he's not. He's going to GLEAT as a homeless fan. I guess the bit.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that.
Okay, I'm fine with it.
Would it make you watch GLEAT?
Falling down the pecking order of Japanese wrestling promotions.
Oh, say. Big time, buddy.
Noah to all.
Well, wouldn't you piss them all off?
Yeah, he's the Ethan Page of Japanese wrestling companies.
I love Nakajima. To be fair,
I love Nakajima as well. I am okay with it because I'm thinking of such matches as Nakajima versus El Lindemann, Nakajima versus T-Hawk, and Nakajima versus Shima would be a battle of political prowess, which I think would be fun.
That would be something.
Irie, I believe, is also in GLEAT still, so that could be fun. I'm basically thinking of Strong Hearts. Him versus anyone in Strong Hearts is what I'm saying.
You only named Strong Hearts.
Those are the only GLEAT wrestlers I know, baby.
But I just wanted to point that out that he was there.
Well, if he's there, that definitely implies that he is heading to GLEAT.
At least I don't think you show him on with the LIDET president if he's not wrestling there sooner than later. So
that's fine. I'll take some more Nakajima matches.
We'll just take Nakajima doing anything at this point.
Exactly. And like I said, any of the Strong Hearts guys, you can't ask me to name any more GLEAT wrestlers.
Hayato Tamura.
All right, sure.
Takanori Ito.
Yeah, these are all names. All the stars are here.
They're good. Good.
But yeah, I think what's interesting about GLEAT is that they have that sort of hard hitting and also like MMA aspect to it, which I think also probably will serve Nakajima a lot. So I think that will be a good spot for him right now. We'll see what happens, I guess. Maybe WWE was just getting pushed further down the road. Like anybody else, I guess. All right, so let's we've sort of been talking about a little bit about the AEW, CMLL, AAA. The report that got published is that the issues have been quote unquote worked out for Forbidden Door. Not obviously the relationship fully, but for Forbidden Door as a sort of safe space for these two companies. Previously, this is written by Ian Carey of Wrestling Observer, F4WOnline.com. Previously, the long-standing rivalry between the two lucha promotions put limitations on wrestlers from one company appearing on the same show as wrestlers from the other company. We all know this. However, our Dave Meltzer, okay, so it was Meltzer that gave the quote. So the quote is from Dave. Quote, Tony Khan said that they have pretty much worked it out. So that means that Forbidden Door, that Roosh and Phoenix and all these guys can appear. All these guys, what does he mean? Pentagon,
all these guys,
Pentagon, Commander, all these sort of things.
Sam Adonis,
Psycho Clown, what is it? Hambursa,
Alberto Del Rio,
Dolph Ziggler. Meltzer on the show. Money talks, I guess, which I think is a very interesting point there. Tony Khan's been really a good partner for New Japan. He's trying to be a good partner for CMLL, and I guess CMLL got less stubborn as they're trying to expose their guys in the country, in this country being the United States. I mean, it makes more sense for them. CMLL guys are getting more and more work in this country. There's even talk of CMLL trying to do shows in this country. We also heard, by the way, they're trying to do shows in this country. We have this idea. Well, we're not going to talk about the show today, but the Arlington residency for AEW, that news about what the contract pertains from WrestleNomics got published. Part of it is that they have this residency. They have like 21 days that aren't being used. And part of that contract states that other companies that work with AEW, like New Japan or CMLL, could use this venue if they so choose as well. CMLL interested going to the United States. We'll see if they go to Arlington. I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't think they'll do one on their own, but time will tell. As far as Forbidden Door goes, Dave says it looks like MJF and Roosh is going to be at Forbidden Door, and I would presume that Mystico and some of the top guys from CMLL will also be on that show. So thoughts on the sort of ironing out of the relationship when it comes to specifically Forbidden Door?
Cool. Makes things easier. Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. It's like, it's an accomplishment to make it happen because of the long time history. The funny thing about it is that I never really saw like this big problem in terms of like everyone was like, oh, you can't have these guys on the show. It's like they're not involved in storylines half the time to begin with. Why are we getting so worked up about it? It'd be like the Lucha Bros, for example. They're like, oh, the Lucha Bros can't wrestle on Forbidden Door. I'm like, I'm sorry, would I expect them to? It's like they're not doing anything. The one thing that did get taken away from us once upon a time was Ospreay and Andrade. That was like the one time I remember something that was supposed to happen and it got taken away because of the relationship. But it's good.
But that was also the year where like Forbidden Door got like extremely fucked up.
Well, that was the first Forbidden Door. It got screwed up, but he couldn't do it because of New Japan not being able to have that talent. He was working AAA at the time.
Yeah, and obviously they didn't have a relationship with CMLL. AEW didn't have a relationship with CMLL at the time.
So it's good. It makes things easier, and however they do it, more talent the better for this show, for this big show.
Real quickly, Hassan Abadi in the chat. Didn't Mexicans already appear on the same shows as CMLL people since the start? No.
They appeared like on the same taping, like it would be Dynamite and then Rampage, but it wouldn't be the same
same
TV
show.
CMLL wouldn't allow others on the same TV show.
Yes, and now what is apparently happening for at least Forbidden Door, presumably, well, not even presumably. I mean, I guess this show as well. Roosh and Mystico was in that gauntlet later in the show, right? The gauntlet was the gauntlet was 2 weeks ago.
Roosh was not in that.
Roosh was not in the gauntlet. I'm saying, when was the gauntlet? Was that last week?
Last week.
Either way, so the idea was that they could be at the same taping, they could be at the same show. So Mystico could be on Dynamite, and then Pentagon could be on Rampage. It's the same taping, but two different.
That's what they did this week, for example.
They also did that this week. What this is supposing is that now, at least to our knowledge, former AAA wrestlers can show up on the same show as CMLL contracted talents, which is something that doesn't really happen in the United States. It happens in Mexican indies every once in a while, but sometimes that could be either forgetfulness or political okayness or whatever. Just things fall through the cracks. This is something that, at least in America, I don't believe is a thing. So that's this new level that is happening here, is that they can now compete on the same show. Next level from there, obviously, is, can they compete in the same matches? Which that will be a lot. If Tony Khan will be able to do that, that'd be great. I doubt it. If you can bury the hatchet,
that's a level I'm not prepared to go. However,
if you can bury the hatchet of two Mexican companies that have been feuding for decades, I doubt it. But yes, for the next stages where they compete on the same show, the next stage after that is same matches.
Now, CMLL, can I offer you this idea? They all lose to La Mystica.
Now we're talking.
Because listen, they're all going to lose to La Mystica anyways.
Have we considered Roosh tapping out to Mystico?
Oh, buddy, I've considered everyone tapping out to Mystico. Someone said that they should do Okada versus Mystico. I was like, Okada better get ready to learn La Mystica, buddy.
That luchador training is going to come in handy for them taking them to La Mystica.
There's not a single wrestler in AEW I'm having beat Mystico. Nah, not happening. Mystico, notably undefeated in his AEW career.
I believe also undefeated in his MLW career. No, he got eliminated in the Battle Royal.
Well, he didn't win the gauntlet, but he didn't lose the gauntlet, because it's not really it's not a gauntlet match. It's not a gauntlet match, by the way. Gauntlet matches, you go through the gauntlet. That's just a Royal Rumble that has the gauntlet on it.
That has a distinct finish.
Yeah. Anyways, it's good. It's good news. All good news for now. Sure. Forbidden Door looks pretty cool. Though, I saw that they're doing Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy. I don't think a match could move me less for Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, they tried to do it years ago, and then it became like a 4-way schmoz, I think, or a 3-way schmoz.
Does this interest you?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, a singles match interests me more than, like I
said,
said,
we're getting Zach. We're getting Zach versus Hechicero at Arena Coliseo or something, so it's fine.
That interests me way more, so I'll accept that.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know who you would have put Zach against. Well, Zach versus Danielson, third match would have made sense, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting news. The question is obviously, this is all what we're all been talking about with Roosh so far in Phoenix, is that this is all former AAA talent.
Yeah.
Pentagon PR push that he is a former AAA talent now because he's leaving and not doing it again. Well,
Commander also not allowed.
There's been the report that Commander's been gone for visa issues, and that's been the issue, I guess.
He's not allowed to do it though, because he's AAA champ.
And that's the thing. He's a AAA champion. He's at Triple Mania. Whatever the next.
Will Bandito get to do it?
Will Bandito be able to do it? Will Commander, when he's able to figure this stuff out? Are active AAA talents going to be able to do it? Vikingo, if and when he comes back,
in the end,
talents.
Do you want to know what side I'm on?
The side that Mystico's on. We already know this.
All day, every day, baby.
For our audio listeners, that was a picture of Mystico holding a sign that said CMLL.
All day.
Let's talk WWE first, or do you want to do a bunch of New Japan stuff? Because we got a lot
What
of
the
New
hell
Japan stuff.
WWE do?
We got Clash of the Castle this Saturday.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. I was like, what? Something? Yeah,
Who?
that's cool.
Or we can
Who?
also stay in AEW and update the MJF tracker.
Oh, yeah, let's do that first.
All right, let's stay in AEW real quick. Let's update the MJF tracker. So right now he's at 6.5. Right now is what MJF is at. I believe is what that how that's situated at. So MJF tracker, if you don't know, new long running bit. MJF, the scale between him being a sports entertainer and him being a actual pure professional wrestler. We get his first appearance on AEW Dynamite since his return. He has a nice little promo, and then he has not really a promo off, but kind of a conversation with Roosh that evolves into a big brawl to open up Dynamite. Scotty, what are your thoughts? We both get half a point to decide if he's becoming more of a sports entertainer or more of a pure wrestler. What do you think about the MJF segment of the week? And do you think he's more of a wrestler or a sports entertainer?
Down. Hated it.
Hated it. Whoa.
Hated it.
Strong opinion.
Back to being MJF that I can't stand.
What about the promo? What about the segment did you not like about it?
Probably all of it. I don't know. I just don't enjoy listening to him speak anymore. I don't think.
I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I didn't love what he was really saying either. I really hated the line of I'm gonna wrestle at Forbidden Door against some Mexican or Japanese guy.
Yeah, it was racially coded. It felt a little like I don't know about that one, buddy.
I didn't like that. I just didn't like it. I just was like, all right, you got a shot here. Like the Roosh pull apart brawl with MJF was good, right? Like that was good, but it was the promo, and that's the main thing about MJF, and I didn't enjoy it. So,
yeah, that's where I'm sort of talking about is that like I am not a big fan of pull aparts, really, because I think they get a little too overused. Exactly. And the promo, I completely understand what you're saying when like what his promo is what got him to the dance and what got him to get a contract with AEW and all these sort of things and what ultimately got him over.
Yeah.
But it is still the same and still hasn't evolved. And then once it became like his promo style, or basically doing the same sort of jabs and all these sort of things, and then being a baby face, it then became like annoying to me. And now that he's returned and basically still doing the same promo, like I don't like his promo between Double or Nothing and this week.
Yeah.
Double or Nothing felt wrestler. This felt sports entertainer and at least more babyface and felt more slapsticky than serious for me. And I did not enjoy it. Was it?
So you know why I expected you not to enjoy it?
Why? What is that?
Because he's coming for your boy.
Of course. Well, obviously,
no, not him.
Oh, huh?
Mr. Ospreay. And I said, I literally messaged you, and I was like, "You scared yet?"
I did lay out previously that I think MJF could be part of the international title picture. Well, he also called out Swerve and he also called out Okada. So there's also
but Ospreay got the most focus.
That's fair. I think he got the most focus because he's like, I'm the best wrestler. That was the thing, his biggest gripe, I guess.
It's okay. Ricochet will face Will Ospreay at All In instead, and we don't have to worry.
Hey, I mean, that's not too bad.
That'd be kind of funny, actually.
Yeah. I've seen some positive praise about this promo, but I think ever since it's become, and that's the thing, is the promo, this conversation isn't, is MJF good this week or bad? Is he more of a sports entertainer or a wrestler?
Yes.
And I think that the promo felt more
pull apart brawl.
The pull apart brawl overuse, and WB is the overuse portion. And I whenever I see a pull apart brawl, I think of WWE. And like I said, I think the promo was a bit too slapsticky babyface MJF for me than the serious promo we got at Double or Nothing.
Yeah. I will say this. He went to the school of Cody, right? We all say that.
Oh, of course. Undoubtedly.
He does this, like, Cody and him like to lean on the same promo, like the same promo style. The thing is, Cody does it about 100% better at all times. Right? Like, Cody, you believe and you get behind. MJF can't hold back on the, like, cheap shots, right? The low-hanging fruit. He can't stop doing it.
Yeah.
And for me, that's always a problem with his promos. But like you said, it's not if it was good or bad. It more pro wrestler or more sports entertainment. Pull apart brawl. Big, long promo. That's sports entertainment, buddy.
Yeah. I
moving back down, MJF.
Back down the tracker he goes. So back to where he started with. Back to where he started with us. That's MJF this week. WWE. Let's talk. Speaking about companies that MJF should go to, WWE.
Ain't going anytime soon.
Well, WWE is going to Glasgow, Scotland. Scotty, can you do a Scottish accent? Are you good at impressions?
I'm good at some impressions, but I can't do that one though. No.
Well, that's totally fine. They are going to the Knightsey family famously can't do impressions. We are all incredibly bad at impressions, and all of us cannot do a single impression. With my one time, someone got us a board game, card game thing where it's just like you have to do impressions over and over again, and it was so embarrassing for all of us that none of us could get through it. Anyways,
what's your best impression?
If I warm up my voice, I can do the Christian Bale Batman pretty well.
Yeah.
But I gotta warm up my voice to do it. And
there's
no way possible to right now.
Do you know the Runaway Railroad Mickey ride?
Yes.
In Disney.
Yeah. I'm fascinated where this is going.
I can find the right tune where I sound just like Mickey singing that song.
Really?
Yeah. I learned that when I was listening to the song and singing it.
If I also listen to enough, I can do Kronk from Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. I forget the actor's name, but I can do him a little bit.
Okay. I just want to show you this. Have you ever seen Damian Priest with his hair like this?
No. No. I'm looking at a dreadlocked Damian Priest. He has. Does he have dreads?
Yeah, he has that hair, but he always has it
back in like a ponytail or like never in the front like that where it looks like he's some sort of
just
like,
down and pretty.
Yeah, like a goth punk rock band sort of thing. I've never seen
CM Punk.
Yeah, CM Goth. Yeah, I've never seen that before. I never want to see it again, but I will see it at WWE Clash at the Castle, Scotland. We'll be in Glasgow, Scotland. Let me see if I have
pretty packed show, huh?
Let me see if I have WrestleTix where I can see the tickets here. Pretty packed show. 5 title matches. This is probably it for the show. But yeah, a lot to not really any. Do you have any thoughts? We didn't really talk about this too much. Do you have any thoughts on the 5 match cards?
It's fine. It doesn't affect me. I've learned the perfect. If anyone wants to hear what the perfect method of watching a WWE pay-per-view is, you can't watch it live. So this is the one thing. Maybe you won't be interested. Start it 30 minutes late. Because then you can get through all those commercials, and it's like you're watching a pay-per-view in 2 hours or less, which is beautiful, by the way. I don't mind the 5 match cards though. Any more, and they'd be way too long because of the commercials. You know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. If I had to give some advice on watching WWE pay-per-views, it's have other wrestling you need to catch up on, and then watch that wrestling in between matches.
Yeah, Ryan actually watches like 12 matches per WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah, that is probably accurate. All right. As of May 28th, they sold. WrestleTix hasn't done an update in a while. As of May 28th, they sold 10,000 tickets, 10,126 tickets, with 993 tickets available to be sold. It's practically going to be a sellout. It probably will be a sellout.
Shocker.
This is May 28th. It will probably be a sellout by
May
time.
28th? Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be a sellout by time things come happening. It's
a good show.
Yeah, good show. Let's talk about the matches here. WWE Women's Tag Team Title match, triple threat. Belair and Jade Cargill defending the titles against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, and the unholy union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
All right, I need you to know this. So I was watching the SmackDown clip of this exact situation, this match coming together. I'm looking at it on my left. That's why I pointed. And I was like, who is this woman? I never know who Isla Dawn is. I never know who she is. Every time she pops up on my screen, I ask myself, who is this? It's always her, but I never know who she is. And I just want everyone to know that. I think there's enough parts in this match where it would be better than, say, one of these tag teams against Bianca and Jade. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it should be fine. Kaylee Ray's from Scotland, I believe.
Yes. I mean, who's Kaylee Ray? I don't know who that is.
Sorry, Alba Fire.
Oh, there we go.
All the fire.
Yes, she is from, as Colin Matthew in the chats corrects me, Glasgow, not the WWE, the WWE.
Glasgow.
W is silent.
Are you going, Colin?
Yes, Colin. If you're saying you live there, are you attending Clash at the Castle? Are you one of the 10,000, 11,000 in attendance? At Clash at the Castle, Glasgow for the.
I read the tickets were very expensive, so I wouldn't blame you if you weren't going.
Yes, that is part of it. Is that it is on track to being one of the most. It was like one of the biggest. No, that was France. France was like one of the biggest gates in WWE history.
Leon.
It was one of the expensive tickets that they've ever done, or something like that.
Leon, France.
Yes, exactly what you just said. Yeah, I think this, it's weaker tag teams, but it's triple threat, so it's, that's the booking idea.
Ooh,
and
reminder.
It's able to put in Alba Fire, who's from Scotland.
This show is going to be solid. You know why?
Why?
Because the crowd's going to be hot.
Yeah, I would think so.
Got to take that into consideration every time we do one of these international pay-per-views with this company.
Mm-hmm. WWE. Oh no, sorry, the W silent. Intercontinental title match. Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Is this match a title or loser leaves town match?
Hold on. So it's Glasgow.
Yes, apparently.
Did you say Glasgow?
That's originally, yeah.
Originally, you must have said that. I knew it was Glasgow. Don't listen to Ryan. I got this.
Look at Scotty saving face over here.
What was the match?
Don't even pay attention. Intercontinental title match: Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Is this a title versus loser leaves town match?
No, but it should be a great match.
Yeah, I think so.
I expect Chad Gable to cheat to win. That's the difference this time. He cheats.
Well, does he cheat to win, or does Otis or Maxine turn on Gable, and that what causes Gable to lose?
I think you got to get Gable the belt.
Really? Okay. Why?
Because the story for me is you get Gable the belt, you do the Sammy rematch, and then eventually the big Otis turn happens, and you actually have a hot match between those two. I know saying Chad Gable.
You're saying doing Otis versus Gable for the IC title down the line.
I do. I think it's hot. I've watched these TV segments. I don't watch Raw every week. I don't watch SmackDown every week. But damn it, I watch Chad Gable every week.
He's locked into Maxine Dupree. Locked into Otis.
And every time I want Otis to beat this guy's ass. And he doesn't do it. And the crowd wants Otis to beat this guy's ass. And he doesn't do it. you could feel however way you want about current WWE. One thing they're really good at right now is making people love certain wrestlers. They have done it with Jay freaking Uso. They can do it with anyone. And they're doing it with Otis right now. I think you get it to Gable. Gable, goes on a little power trip. Finally wins the big one. But he does it by cheating or whatever because, he couldn't beat Gunther. He couldn't beat Sammy the first time because he wrestled it clean. Now he's going to cheat. Now he's going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just grabs his tights or something, simple as that.
Or tries to grab the belt. I picture it as, I think I agree with you that he's going to try to cheat to win, but I think he's going to grab the belt and then Otis is going to get on the rope and then grab the belt back and be like, no, you're not doing that. And then he loses.
The thing with Sami Zayn is he was always, to me, the champion that could lose very quickly.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Because you had him and Cody kind of having the same moment, and one of them was going to lose early, I thought, and it was always going to be Sammy. I think Gable wins because it continues the story. And this company does not rush things anymore. They just take a very long time telling these things.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about the bloodline thing now, and it's like they're not really telling a story. They're just waiting for Roman to come back. Yeah. But this one's good. So I like Gable winning. I think it's more interesting for the story itself and prolongs it a little bit. But if Sammy won, I wouldn't be remotely shocked if they did the Otis turn here.
If Sammy wins, does that lead more into the idea that Gable could be leaving?
Oh, sure does.
Both of us think he's undoubtedly staying and that this was all a PR thing.
That's why I think he's staying, because I think they probably promised him winning the belt.
Ooh, as part of his contract. He signs the contract, and part of it is I need the IC title belt. Big political player, Chad Gable.
It's a classic. Listen, I watched some of the WCW thing, Who Killed WCW. Spoiler alert. We know.
Spoiler alert. Booker T somehow.
But I went back and reread Hulk Hogan's contract. Incredible. Just absolutely incredible. He gets to have all booking decisions on his matches. Are you kidding me? Every wrestler should inspire to have that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Classic all-time saying. But the point is, you work something into the contract. Maybe it's Gable. You're going to actually get a push here. You're in the midst of a push, but we're going to give you the belt. We're going to let you run with it. I think that's something that they can easily add in, and it would affect no one besides Chad Gable. But,
I think if anything, it would affect Sami Zayn. I don't think he would be.
I don't think Sami Zayn cares.
I don't know if Sami Zayn. Would you consider Sami Zayn hot right now? I would say
he's pretty good. He's over.
He's over. He's not really
he's hot.
Yeah. He's not hot like Gunther, where it's like I know this match is gonna be really good, but I'm not dying to see it like a Gunther match.
Sure. Sammy's Well, here's the thing. Sammy's the guy that's in the chase. That's when Sammy's great.
Yeah.
Right? Now he's the champion, so it's all right. What's next? For me, it's if Drew McIntyre stays heel and he's world champion for the next year, Sammy's the interesting guy to go for that because of their history. So it's
that's true.
Get the title off of him type thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you though. But I mean, it's gonna be a very good match, if not great. So I'll take that any day of the week.
Speaking about matches set up for wrestlers from the hometown, WWE Women's title match, Bayley defending her title against Piper Niven, also from Scotland.
Former World of Stardom challenger, Piper Niven. Anyone?
Former Viper, Big Van Viper.
Viper. What's the point? I haven't seen Viper, Piper Niven, whatever you want to call her, wrestle very long, wrestle a real match in a very long time. She used to be really good though. And it's interesting because Bayley's obviously the baby face, but she won't be on this show, so that'll be an interesting dynamic. I'm presuming. I don't know why. I don't know why she would be booed in her home.
Yeah, you would have to suspect that all the hometown people will be cheered.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting dynamic. I don't know if it's going to be a good dynamic, but if they let her go, it'd be pretty good. Nothing like super, but it'll be pretty good.
And I like to think that Bailey would totally be down to be wrestling a Viper match, you know?
Yeah.
Uh,
David versus Goliath's always a good style.
but at the same time, I think both you and I could agree this match would be way more interesting 5 years from now when Piper Niven was at least hotter of a wrestler and Bailey had working knees, I guess would be the
5 years ago.
Yeah. Like I don't
you said 5 years from now. I was like,
oh, my apologies. 5 years ago.
Better.
Glasgow. I like, yeah, if she had working knees and Piper Niven was a little more hotter of a wrestler, when she like first came into the company, I think like the big, I don't know, I don't expect a Bailey Io Sky performance here. If that makes sense, I'm expecting a solid women's fair. You know, I'm not expecting anything sort of coming off the page here, but the crowd, so that'll help.
Yeah, my take is the crowd will help it a lot. I will say Bailey might be the only wrestler that might have the fans on her side because they love to sing her song and stuff. Well, not her song, the song that they've made up. I know that's England. I get it, but that's a song that people just sing for Bailey now. So we'll see. We'll see. I think it'll be pretty good, which I'll take. You know,
yeah. WWE World Heavyweight Title match. Speaking of wrestlers,
probably the main event.
Speaking of wrestlers from the hometown that they want to put in here, Damian Priest defending his title against Drew McIntyre, also from Scotland.
If they had a mindset to have CM Punk cost Drew at this show,
which I fully think is what's going to happen,
they should 100% pivot away from that.
Mm.
Or have CM Punk try, maybe fail for once. You know, let Drew not look like an idiot for once. I think that would be interesting. Listen, ultimately, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk should be for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam.
Yeah, if it almost behooves CM Punk to ensure McIntyre gets the win.
Yeah, it's the Hangman Swerve thing, right? I won't want you to be world champion. Right? I'm going to do anything to make sure you don't, which obviously Hangman failed. It's kind of like that.
Stop having kids.
I don't know I don't know what's up with Hangman. I just remember that he just is away for a different reason than injury. But I pivot because one, Damian Priest ain't a world champion. Just not good. Not good. I watched like the promo back and forth between these two, and I was like, this is not close.
And I think putting the title on Drew McIntyre here, obviously in his hometown of Scotland, makes so much more sense. We saw what it looked like with Roman, and everyone been like, that should have been the spot at the last year's Clash of the Castle. And I think, you know, I could agree. I could agree with the Chad Gable idea of switching it to Chad Gable, but I think that'd be too short for Sami Zayn. I think where you want to do a shorter title reign first is Damian Priest versus McIntyre. It makes a lot more sense for it to be McIntyre and then go into it being CM Punk at SummerSlam, I believe. And have this be the title reign for Priest that elevates him up the card to being a world title challenger.
Yeah. I think Drew should 100% win.
Yeah,
should win.
It would be foolish, and I think it'd be foolish to not have McIntyre win, and I think there's a good chance Punk is getting involved in this match.
The only reason McIntyre doesn't win is if they're turning Punk heel in this story,
which is plausible
and more interesting to me, but because I think Punk as a heel against McIntyre actually works a lot better.
Yeah.
Everywhere besides Glasgow as well. But I like it. I like McIntyre getting the win in his home in Glasgow. I think it works.
Drizzy Drakey, it's Drake. Isn't Gunther challenging the winner of this match at SummerSlam since he won?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot about that.
Is he challenging? He's challenging this title match, not Cody's.
Correct. Shit, that changes everything. Punk's definitely gonna cost him.
Yeah. Because then it's gonna be Damian Priest versus Gunther, and Gunther gets the title win. But that's 2 heels.
Yeah, whatever.
What about Gunther, Punk, McIntyre? Triple threat.
It would be good, but
Yeah.
no.
Because it would be 2 heels if it was Priest. And now WB doesn't do that.
I mean, I could. Money in the Bank consider a big show. I wouldn't be shocked if they did Punk and McIntyre there.
Look at this company's goddamn schedule.
Because okay, all right. It's so Money in the Bank starts off July, and then SummerSlam's at the beginning of August. Since Gunther challenges,
yes, Money in the Bank is July 6th. SummerSlam is August 3rd.
I could definitely see Punk costing Drew. And if that's the case, they should go with Punk being a heel.
Okay. Or we do Punk McIntyre at Money in the Bank in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The hometown hero.
I mean, that's possible. It just feels rushed.
Yeah.
And I don't like it rushed. I almost...
Because then in that scenario, it almost feels like, well, again, who's the face heel dynamic? McIntyre. Well, I mean, yeah. Hold on. I'm saying they don't really do heel dynamics. Isn't this match technically heel versus heel? It's just the hometown hero of Scotland.
Yes.
So they're getting away with the match here because it's hometown hero. But if they do Punk versus McIntyre, that's face heel. And then if McIntyre wins there, then it's heel versus heel. I don't know. I'm getting in the weeds about WWE dynamics.
You're getting way too in the weeds. All right. Since because of the Gunther thing, Drew loses because of CM Punk. Done.
And then it's I don't know. I can see McIntyre. I feel like it's still got to be a McIntyre win. Because there's also something to the idea of McIntyre winning and then CM Punk beating him and then Gunther beating everybody. There's something about that I enjoy.
Listen, in the end, I just want Gunther as champion.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal is Gunther as champion at SummerSlam.
Always
whatever we need to do to get there, we'll get there. WWE title, Universal title, whatever. I Quit match now officially. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles had a unexpected unexpected great match at Backlash France month ago. And now they're running it back yet again, this time having an I Quit match. Unlike last time, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, see, I hate I Quit matches, but there's something about Cody Rhodes, man. I know not everyone loves him, but there's something about Cody Rhodes and his ability in this spot to really kill it.
And I don't want to underestimate these two wrestlers because we underestimated them at Backlash, and they pulled off a great match.
Yeah, so I'm gonna believe they can do it again. I'm not gonna underestimate a Cody title match, especially against someone like AJ, who still seemingly has stuff in the tank, which was not what I expected last time.
Reportedly still has stuff in the tank.
Yeah, should be good. First time since they started doing the 5-match layout that both world titles are defended. So placement will be interesting on this show. And that's that. That's next Saturday, right?
Yes, that will be this upcoming Saturday in Glasgow.
What's the egregious time it starts?
Ooh, good question. I actually do not know.
Oh, I got it. It's on this graphic. 2 p.m. Eastern.
All right, so strap in 2 p.m. Eastern for Clash of the Castle Scotland for WWE this Saturday. All right, let's talk about New Japan. Got a billion things to talk about New Japan. We'll start off with, I think, the Tanahashi thing.
What the hell's the Tanahashi thing? No, I know. I know what it is now.
first little bit for
New Japan is closing. Oh,
Yes, Tanahashi officially said no. So this is put together by Chris Sampson at the Chris Sampson on Twitter, friend of the show. Tanahashi press conference. New Japan president, of course, addressed the media on June 4th with a 10-point plan for the future of New Japan. Have you read these statements? Have you read these 10-point plans?
buddy, I only know the stardom part, so no.
All right. Well, let me give you the 10-point plan. And
all right, point number 1.
Talent discovery and development. Young talent should wrestle in more high-level spots. Wrestlers still need to earn their spots in tournaments like the G1. New Japan wants the best wrestlers in their early 20s in Japan.
Okay.
Good, as you should. You know?
Easy. First thought, duh.
Yeah.
Second thought, the best wrestlers in the age of 20 do not belong in this company. So that's tough.
We're the best wrestlers in their early 20s.
Is Kaito in his early 20s? He might be 26, actually, so I won't hurt them too bad. They don't have Yuma Anzai.
I'll tell you that much.
They do not have you.
Kaito Kiyomiya, 27.
Oh, okay. So he's not in his early 20s anymore. But they don't have Yuma Anzai. So
if I just Google wrestlers age 23,
why 23?
I'm just saying what would be early wrestlers, right? Early 20s. Are they going to bring in Dante Martin?
What?
He's 23. Dante Martin.
I'm talking about Japanese wrestlers. I don't care about AEW.
What about Gable Steveson? He's 24.
Nope. Shun Skywalker's 28.
What about Hook? What about Hook?
You say Gable Steveson?
Yeah, I did. I snuck that one in there.
That's
point number 2.
Number 2, my lord.
Elevating the value of title belts. It is important to clarify the role and concept of each title. Strong titles will be defended on U.S. shows only going forward. A subpoint company acknowledges the tag titles are about to be combined at Dominion. Quote unquote, this process may take time. The company acknowledges that 13 titles may be challenging to follow, and the process may take time, 12 to 18 months to, I guess, it seems like they're going to combine a bunch of titles over the course of a year and a half.
Ryan, coming close. Good. They have so many freaking belts. Good idea. Good plan. 2 points.
Is this the first company that acknowledged that having 1 billion titles is not a good idea?
Well, Lord knows Tony Khan doesn't. So yeah. Who has more belts? Tony Khan or Triple H?
Triple H?
Yeah, WWE or AEW. Well, Triple H has more title reigns.
I was going to say, I was like, Triple H specific?
Because Lord knows Tony Khan's football team and soccer team aren't winning. Sorry.
Well, the problem with that comparison right off the bat is, are we counting NXT?
Well, we count Ring of Honor.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I'll say 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 titles in WWE. 17 if you want to count Cody Rhodes as the WWE champion and WWE Universal, but I think it's one. What are they? 16?
16. All right. Here we go.
Let's see.
Are you on the handy dandy AEW roster page?
No, I'm not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 titles in AEW.
Okay. WWE might have more. 9,
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Across.
But then you have to you have to include the New Japan titles that are in this company, the CMLL titles that now pop up in this company, the Stardom titles that pop up in. Okay, I can see the problem. Either way, too many titles all around.
Well, and then also if you want to, if we consolidated the 6-man titles, then it's 15, I guess. But
sure. Oh, sorry. WWE has the TNA Women's Knockouts championship as well.
So we're bumping it back up. Someone explain to me this title. I don't understand it. What are not?
Anyways, 2 good points by Mr. Tanahashi.
On a roll. Number 3, reducing / eliminating outside interference. They haven't determined concrete policies. The interference will be limited. A lot of talking questions about whether House of Torture is the reason for this goal. The company acknowledges the fans' frustrations regarding House of Torture. The company acknowledges that pro wrestling is unique when it comes to wrestlers turning things in their favor any way they can. That interferences are part of wrestling, but we also understand that having too much can be wearing down, and apparently they understand that fans are frustrated about it.
This has to be the most ridiculous presentation of all time. All right. Sure.
Look, as a House of Torture podcast, fully against this point. Terrible point, obviously.
Awful. All hail the house. Terrible point. Kidding me?
Yeah, come on. Kidding me?
Also, hot take, right? You listen to me? You look at me? This is stupid to say. Just tell your booker to book different.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that like the president is saying this and then be like when it comes to titles, this is going to take a year and a half. Like you could like do this tomorrow, and just get rid of a bunch of belts.
It's called storytelling, Ryan.
Yeah, I need a year and a half to combine the tag titles.
I wish you said it'd take a year and a half to stop the interference. I think that would have been the funniest thing.
Hilarious. Yeah, but it's also like, what does this mean? There is something like to the fact that like House of Torture obviously is heavy interference. Bullet Club is obviously heavy interference, and like all this heavy interference has been in this company for like a decade at least. And in the past 5 years has gotten like really out of control, I think, with House of Torture. Where you have
better referees, buddy.
Yeah, you gotta fire Red Shoes. I think we're all in agreement. You gotta fire Red Shoes. Like if I'm Tanahashi, it's like he's retired. We're forcing retirement on Red Shoes because he's doing a bad job at the referees because this interference is out of control. You bring in a new guy and he's a hard ass when it comes to interference. Then you get no interference. That's how you book it. Tana.
Yeah, stop blaming House of Torture for taking advantage of the referees.
Yeah, you got shitty refs. You got shitty refs in there? Get freaking Jeff Buchanan's Red Shoes to Marigold. More like gold shoes. Am I right? Everybody? High five.
All right, number 4.
Increasing the prominence and status of New Japan Hantai. Tanahashi wants Hantai to be a desired unit for young wrestlers or wrestlers returning from excursion, which I think is a fair point. Like this idea of like when you're returning from excursion, it's like you immediately go in like Tsuji immediately into LIJ, Yu Mora immediately into Just 5 Guys. Like these guys are going direct. Ren Narita was Hantai, I think.
Strong style.
He was strong style, I guess. And then that faction lasted so long. And then going into
Shota Umino is in Hantai, I guess. Technically.
Yeah, not really. I would say he's in Hantai. But like also it's this thing of like Hantai doesn't really exist after Chaos. Kind of like they
Chaos and Hantai are the same thing, yeah.
So he wants to more establish it as like this is the home team, which I think he's kind of did with like Bolton Oleg as an example.
That's 3 out of 4 good points. I cannot defend the House of Torture bullshit that I just heard. How dare you?
Number
5.
Strengthening ties with Stardom. Stardom will be owned by New Japan as of the end of June. So look for improved operational efficiency, scheduling crossover events, and Stardom on New Japan events soon.
I mean, it just makes me laugh because it's like nothing was stopping you. A lot of these are nothing's stopping you. This is all your fault. Yeah, it's good. Good, it makes sense. They're going to be a subsidiary of New Japan now. They kind of have to. They did announce Historic Crossover today, so Historic Crossover 2 today, which I said to someone the other day, who the hell does this show interest anymore? With all the people that have gone and left New Japan and the people that have now left Stardom, lost a lot of its luster that it would have had last year. But I digress. It's cool. Great. 5. So that's not 6 next.
6, which you set it up. You teed me up quite nicely. 6, strengthening ties with AEW. New Japan is happy with the relationship with AEW. Quote, I believe this is a quote from Tanahashi specifically. There's the perception, or it might have been the other guy that runs
Kadani.
I believe this might have been Kadani. This isn't quoted by Chris Sampson, but the quote is here, and there's not attribution. There is the perception that New Japan is treated as a sub-brand or is looked down on by AEW. Some of that perception of New Japan being behind comes from the economics at the moment, which is fair. We talked about it at the show. But the truth of the matter is AEW's strength and New Japan's strengths are different. From development of talent from scratch to a historical and traditional perspective, there's a lot New Japan can offer that AEW cannot, which is true. So there's a lot that we can do together. And while much of it isn't something we can discuss right now, there's a lot we will do. But the idea that New Japan is the inferior partner is not correct. We are absolutely on even footing, and that's something we will prove in the near future. You are now showcasing a graphic of Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
we talked about the time when Okada and Ospreay left that it's not just those two. You can chalk up Jay White as also a recent comparison, but it goes back obviously to the beginnings of AEW where they were taking Kenny Omega for a prime example. This has been something that has been happening for the company. What are your thoughts? They're acknowledging the relationship. They're acknowledging the fan conversation of New Japan is subservient to AEW, but now New Japan is saying we acknowledge that, but we actually are happy with this relationship. What do you think about that?
They're not going to say they don't like it. It's a partnership that's currently in motion. They're building to a pay-per-view titled AEW and New Japan presents Forbidden Door. So they're not going to say anything. It's pretty by the book to me. It's like, listen, okay, here you go. When the G1 comes around, if the wrestler is not better than Lance Archer, my case is rested. It's over. Done. Well, I love Lance Archer, but you see my point here.
I have had two thoughts about this statement since I heard it. One is that I think it's completely fair for New Japan fans to be upset with the relationship with AEW right now because they are undoubtedly not in the driver's seat of this relationship. But look at historically New Japan with any other relationship in Japan or even right now altogether.
They're the ones that run that.
They're the ones that control all of that. They are in the power position, and I don't see a single soul complaining about their relationships with any other company. And in previous times, I listened to the Voices of Wrestling this past week. They even brought this up a decade or so ago. They were in a relationship with DDT. Who do they take from DDT? Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. This is something that the top company tends to take the top stars from the subservient company. This is part of that relationship. When when AEW is in a lesser spot and New Japan's a little bit better, I wouldn't be shocked if in past history as well, New Japan lessens this relationship and it becomes less of a thing because New Japan in Japan historically, when they have relationships with these guys, it's because we need the extra help, but they're also always on top of these relationships. Eventually, they'll stop using them and they'll be like, okay, we're fine. In the same breath, the other thought I had was how much of the conversation I think would maybe have changed if the relationship started from the beginning with AEW. And I don't have a concrete conclusion on this. This is more of a devil's advocate thought experiment I'm having right now with you, Scotty. But obviously, when AEW started, took top talent, all that stuff, but there was an immediate New Japan distrust, disdain from top brass, meaning the president of New Japan, towards AEW, right? I forget the guy, Harold Meiji, right? Meiji, whatever his name was.
Oh, yeah.
Did not like AEW, didn't want to work with them, didn't trust them, didn't like them. And it became from the jump, AEW, New Japan, they're not working together. AEW would like to work together, but New Japan didn't. And it's very arguable that, guess what? New Japan was in the high seat there. They didn't have to work with AEW as well. Now, Mayhew's gone. You had a new president. Now you have Tanahashi. New Japan obviously needs it. They've been struggling since the pandemic, and they still haven't kind of gotten back to where they were pre-pandemic. And they're not in the driver's seat with the relationship at AEW, but they needed to have that relationship at AEW to maybe sort of help them and also help establish that U.S. arm a little bit more for New Japan. I mean, if the relationship started back in 2019 when AEW started, would New Japan Strong exist, right? Would all these 13 titles have existed? Or would they have just interacted with AEW stateside instead of having all these New Japan Strong shows? So I'm just sort of like thinking thought experiment wise. And I would love to know if people have any thoughts on this in the chat. Like, there's this sort of like, if we aren't the top dog, we don't want to work with anybody else. And that I get from the New Japan fandom that I think is, it's not unfair, but I think it's a little, I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a dangerous thought to have of like, we can't work with anybody unless we're the top dog. And I think that stems from like a Harold Meiji idea, and it's still kind of happening with the New Japan fandom. And yes, your top stars are constantly leaving, but you have also done that to other companies. So I like that's. Do you have any thoughts on this? I'm sort of still in my brain keeping this together and trying to think about how I feel about it. But I would love to know if you have any thoughts about this, Scotty.
See, I would go with that, except AEW has that exact same process, and their fans do too. Mm-hmm. They've just never not been the top dog in the relationship.
Yeah. Which I think is also like a WWE thing. Is like, you know, if WWE works with anybody, they're going to take people, you know?
Here's the reality. AEW feels a lot like that.
It's a wrestling. I mean, honestly, it's a wrestling thing.
It's a wrestling thing. It's
territory days and everything.
So much of the time now, anytime you see like, right, we've seen it the past couple of weeks. Like, oh, TNA might work with WWE or...
And Fightful had a report today of like WWE is like, oh yeah, and a bunch of TNA talent wants to work with WWE and eventually go in WWE and all be absorbed by WWE, you know?
Right. But like all these, any relationship with Noah, for example, like we want to work, or not Noah, sorry, Cyberfight. We want to strengthen relationships with WWE. Everyone freaked out. They're like, oh no, they're going to take all their talent, blah, 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 blah. And I said on this show, hello, AEW takes talent from their partners. It's like, that's just how wrestling works. Like, that's the way we have to look at it. This is how wrestling works. The top dogs take the talent.
Yeah.
Do I like it? Do I like it? No. And that's why the New Japan fans feel the way they do. They don't want their talent being taken away. They've watched Okada leave. They've watched Ospreay leave. And I understand economically and things like that. But they've watched their talent go there. While being partners.
I'll ask you this. For all the New Japan fans listening to the show, would you be upset or would you have any sort of way if New Japan took Yuma Anzai?
I would be upset.
We would be upset as all Japan fans. But would New Japan fans...
they would be happy.
They'd be ecstatic.
We talked about this with Kaito. They talked about it all the time.
Kiyomiya, right? Noah.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, they talked about that. It's just how the cycle goes. And I think it's very unfair. This is my thing. This is how we're talking about it right now. People freak out when WWE potentially does it. Yeah. But they don't with AEW if they're AEW fans. Mm-hmm. And then that goes for AEW fans with New Japan fans. Oh, why are you so mad about it? It's the same pattern.
Yeah.
It's just sizing.
It's right? The hierarchy of wrestling.
And then it'll be all Japan if New Japan was to take their talent. That's just how it goes. Mm-hmm. It's all pretty shitty. You know, it's like taking talent from partners, taking talent from others is not great.
And obviously, like a big part of like that hierarchy right now is Japan as a whole still having a tough time coming out of the pandemic and now going into a phase where the Japanese economy is not doing well. And we talked about this at the time with Okada going and Ospreay going. Ospreay, I think, is a different case in this thing. But when
international talent, I don't
yeah.
think about as much.
But when we talked about Okada, we said like part of it is probably the economics of everything. He was the rumor was that he was making, because of the economy, as much money as he made in his first year as a New Japan talent. That's really bad. And if you're Okada and you're like, I cannot live my life living in Japan, I have to leave. That's if the economy was better, I don't think he would have left.
He could have lived his life, by the way. His wife's very rich, but
also,
but
you understand what I'm saying. You understand.
See, my thing with Okada is like, it sucks that they took him. His he wrestles a lot less now, so that probably helps him anyways. His career is going to go longer because he left, truthfully. His body isn't going to take as much hits. One thing that I do want to say is, though, how many relationships does AEW have in Japan? 2?
3. 2.
Oh, Stardom now too. So
Stardom. Well, 4, 5. Hold on. New Japan.
AEW. New Japan.
New Japan. Stardom. DDT. Tokyo Joshi Pro, kind of. Not really much anymore, but kind of.
Not really anymore. Okay, but sure. Yeah, we'll go TJP. That's it. I'd say that's it.
They
don't have a relationship with Noah.
They flirted.
They don't have. So say those 4.
If that Kano match would have happened, then they would have had something.
Yeah, say those 4. Okay. They have signed a top star or the top star from 3 of the 4 already.
We're talking Okada, Yuka Sakazaki,
Takeshita.
Or I think they've signed her. I don't know where she's been.
She got hurt. Sorry.
Yeah.
She got hurt and Takeshita. They've signed the top, one of, if not the top stars from each one.
And we're flirting with, I don't want to say.
And we know Stardom's coming.
Yeah, we're flirting with top star of Stardom, but I don't think we're flirting with Mina Shirakawa. Flirting in
but
a
that's
lot of
not
ways.
Is that the number one? No, but nonetheless, it still lives up to my point.
I think Rossi's taking a lot of the top stars there.
So I see the frustration.
Yeah.
From that side. You it's like they took our top guy. Now, does Takeshita go back? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But does he go back a lot? No.
Will Okada go back at some point? Probably.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Probably eventually. That's just I look at it from both sides. I get the I don't understand any frustration from the AEW fans. Besides, listen, you win in all this. You get everyone. Okay? You get everyone, and all these relationships stay strong because they have no other choice.
Mm-hmm.
But the New Japan side, I see why people are upset. And I also see where you're going. Well, they took, say, Shingo once upon a time, right?
They took Shingo. They took, they took Kenny Omega and Ibushi. They have a history of taking top guys.
They do. That's just how, and again, that's how wrestling goes,
mm-hmm.
right? It's the latter. People hate that WWE do it the most, but
mm-hmm.
AEW does it just as much, right?
WWE's doing it right now with TNA and Jordan Grace.
Right. And that's why I said last week, I don't care.
Because
this, at the end of the day, I watch every company do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the reality. It's just
the reality of the hierarchy is that if you are underneath, then your top stars have the potential to be taken out.
It's just funny that it's funnier because WWE usually just takes wrestlers from companies without partnerships. AEW makes partnerships and then takes the top wrestler.
With the idea that maybe those top wrestlers will come back, which we haven't yet seen.
Takeshita the only one? I mean, Yuka Sakazaki went back for one show.
Yeah.
And Yuka Sakazaki doesn't really wrestle in AEW to begin with.
Connor Houston has a great point, I think. A great counter, I would say. Well, WWE and AEW have more talent than they can showcase.
That's true. Amen. Amen, Connor. That is also part of the problem.
We just talked about it at the top of the show when we talked about AEW picking up possibly a Ricochet. They don't need Ricochet at all. We talked about this last week too. They don't need him. But if he's available, you got to take him.
I was listening to The Observer. We're going long today, folks. I was listening to The Observer, and they were talking about the CMLL match, right? And they're like, they have all this talent. They have all this talent in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting Esfinge on their show. It's like, it's one thing if you're putting top CMLL talent, right? Like on your TV show.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, now you're bringing in lower CMLL talent. And it's not like you're building them up either. They're losing.
Yeah.
Like every time CMLL shows up, they pretty much lose.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get that as well.
And
There's a lot of moving parts.
There's also the idea that like if AEW wouldn't exist, like AEW is just like, because they exist, they're getting a lot of heat. If AEW didn't exist, Ospreay probably would have gone to WWE, and Okada definitely would have gone to WWE. You know, like,
Sure.
and they, even without the partnership, people are dogging on the partnership, but even without the partnership, they would have left. And people wouldn't, I don't necessarily think people would be dogging on WWE in the same way that they're upset with AEW, because with AEW, it's like, we have a partnership. This isn't a partnership. You're taking all of our talent. WWE would have taken their talent.
Oh, by the way, speaking of which, I saw that Shinsuke Nakamura is 1-36 this year or something.
Correct.
I've never seen something tell me more. Oh, he definitely told Okada, do not come here.
And I think it's fair to say that like AEW and WWE have so much more talent than they know what to do with. And it's like,
yeah, I think AEW has that problem more than WWE.
Agreed.
WWE, in a good way, is more top heavy. And like, when I say top heavy, I mean that's who they should be showcasing, and they showcase them. Right? AEW has so much talent from mid card and up that it's almost someone new every month. It's like, oh, where's this guy? Oh, where's this guy? Right? Ricky Starks has been that guy for a long time.
MIA.
Yeah,
like, they're talking in the chat right now. Megan Bain, someone that is someone seemingly MIA.
Don't start me. Don't start me.
I know. Camille. So,
where the hell's Camille? She's been
allegedly rumored Camille as well.
Right? She's been signed for 4 months and hasn't debuted. And I'd argue Camille was a pretty solid name coming out of, like, if any name was going to come out of NWA with some backing, Camille was the one. And she just disappeared from face of the earth.
And we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago about like just putting people on hamster wheels. Like that is like, so much of that is happening. And like,
you have 2 shows.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tony Khan knows this.
3 shows, technically.
Sorry, you're right. You have 2 real shows. Why? And I say this the nicest way. Why in the world are we booking Daniel Garcia versus, let me check this, Tate Mayfairs?
SGW star Tate Mayfairs?
Why are we doing the premier athletes versus Dante Leone and Trip Jordy? Well, Ricky Starks doesn't exist.
Wait, Dante Leone? Is that the Noah star? The Noah relationship is live in charge here? They're stealing Noah star Dante Leone?
Ryan, I don't mean to hurt you. We're 6 months into the year. Dante Leone has not wrestled in Noah this year. But like this is a long topic to say. I understand why New Japan says it's a good relationship. I think you're right. Like they kind of need it. And listen, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, AEW took everyone. New Japan's a poorly run company. That's why they had a president change. Like that's why Bushiroad is where they are. Right?
That might be true. Yeah.
I stare at Kadani and I say this guy is not good at his job when it comes to the pro wrestling stuff.
I mean, also like if the New Japan roster underneath the top guys was properly built up over the past couple of years and from the pandemic, they wouldn't have as big of a problem as they do right now. If they were able to secure Yuma Anzai when they could, they would be in a better slot. If they were better at utilizing and booking their younger stars right now, they wouldn't be in a big spot. Right
they wouldn't be in a better spot because Yuma Anzai would just be ending his time as a young lion.
Great point. Yeah.
Listen. I understand the fights of the talent getting taken from New Japan. I get it. But New Japan is not a well-run company these days.
Yeah.
Period.
If
this point plan works, maybe they can be, you know?
Number 7.
What? What?
His figuring out his fingers. Number 7, improving the live fan experience. Ideas, different prices, different pricing tiers, female only seating sections, special food menus, consider number of people in box. We can skip this one because I don't think we have any takes on the live fan experience.
Such a hot take on it. Duh. All right, continue.
Yeah, sure. Of course you want to improve it. Why not? Number 8, which I think is a great point. Ichiban Sweetcast released an episode all about this, I believe 2 weeks ago. Number 8, improving New Japan World. They apologize for the clunky transition. The archive should be complete by the end of the year. Live viewing has been fixed and improved. If you listen to Ichiban Sweetcast, podcast under the Countout Network here, they had an episode called New Japan World App Sucks, in all caps. And they talked for, I think it was close to an hour, about how bad it's been in the new transition. You're paying the same price for an archive that doesn't exist anymore. Rafe, who is in Australia, has had cannot watch anything anymore, like on his phone or like on his laptop or whatever. And the live viewing experience, nothing works for him anymore. The whole app, I watch on my Fire Stick on my television screen right here. I tried to go to the New Japan World app on my computer just now. Nothing pulls up. Nothing pulls up. I can pull up on my phone. I can pull it up on Amazon Fire Stick. Can't pull them on my computer. New Japan World app, much like Ichiban Sweetcast already said, sucks ass.
Works great for me. Thank you for asking. Works awesome on my computer. Works even better on my Apple TV. The old one used to suck for me, actually.
Yeah, I think I like the pros of that so far. I like the chapters. The biggest con for me personally is the archive.
Yeah.
The lack of archive and losing all of it sucks so much.
It'll be back.
So much.
That was the point. It'll be back. You just said it by the end of the year. Oh, wait a minute. You should have said it the way he said
he said
title thing. The 12 to 18 months.
The archive should be complete in 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Ito allows it. Colin Matthew in the chat. I listened to that talking about Ichiban Sweetcast, and they were spot on with everything. Great episode. If you've never listened to them, definitely go check that out. Shout
out to the Ichiban Sweetcast.
Yes, Rafe and Curtis.
Everywhere you get your podcasts.
Number 9.
Sorry.
We never talked about number 9 on the podcast. Improved treatment of personal information. They apologize for losing the USB drive with everyone's data on it. And plans are in place to keep data safe going forward.
Hot take. Shouldn't need to be said.
Yeah, you talked about how this is a poorly run company. Number 9.
Yeah.
Number 10, New Japan sponsorships. Thank you to our sponsors. Basically just saying we
sponsors. So the ultimately they're trying to figure themselves out, which is good.
Massive transition period in this company for the past 5 years. That's gone on for way too long. I think we'd all agree.
Yeah. They've had 7 presidents in the past 5 years. I don't know what you want from them. I think they got the right one now.
Yeah. It's having this discussion and having a 10-point plan and having all these sort of things. Granted, it's all about implementation, but having that conversation and having an idea and telling the fans that conversation, that those ideas gives at least some promise of hope, of some sort of thing of we hear you and we're working on it. Whereas you don't hear anything.
Have you ever seen Succession?
I have not. Jesse and I watched the first episode and she didn't like it, so it did not become a TV show we watched.
Well, if it makes you feel better, she's wrong.
I understand. I understand, folks. Don't come at me.
So they had this hilarious saying, right? They were trying to come up with a slogan because they got into big trouble, right? They got into big trouble over. It was actually a very WWE type thing. If you watch it, Ryan, specifically you're going to see so many comparisons to that in WWE.
I've heard many comparisons to that.
Yeah. So they ended up going with the conversation. So the saying, which is sounds so stupid. We here for you. But it's spelled here as in we listen for you. And my point is, it sounds terrible. But it's trying to say, like, we're supportive, we're here for you. And it's like, that's kind of like where New Japan is right now. It's like, we here for you. We'll see.
And I think that's the big point. They're hearing us. Are you going to do something about it?
They probably shouldn't listen to this podcast. They might they might anger a lot of people if they roll on with the House of Torture.
Yeah. The real problem is that they're hearing us, but they won't be able to do any of this stuff until 12 to 18 months from now. New Japan Dominion. Let's talk about New Japan Dominion.
12 18 months from now, we can talk about Dominion.
The PWG model.
See, we have extra time because we talked about a Cheez-It for 15 minutes. Only here on Ring Post Radio.
New Japan Dominion. You didn't watch any of it. I watched the top 5 matches.
Hey, don't call me out like that.
You didn't. You told me beforehand. You didn't.
Yeah, you're right.
We talked about last week that we weren't even sure if we were going to watch it. I woke up extra early and I was able to watch the top 5.
Some of us was recording for Stardom Road.
You already laid this out. You already
late into the night. 2 hours and 40 minutes for the people.
No,
for the people.
Do we have a topic tease for this Tuesday?
Red Belt Champion tier list.
Ooh, a tier list.
Rank every world champion in history of Stardom. Some people are going to be angry.
Shocker.
Tony Storm wasn't very high. Anyways, continue.
I saw the top 5. I thought of what I saw. Everything was really good. 3 of them were great.
Hold on. Not expecting that. The one thing I've seen this morning, I haven't seen anything about the main event. I haven't seen anything about anything except for one match. And I read multiple times that our boy Evil put on the performance of a lifetime. I don't know if it was actually just him, but they had what I read as the best Evil match. I know you're going to disagree because shout out to Tamatonga, but they had the best Evil match since he turned to House of Torture. And you're going to say he had the second best because, again, Evil and Tamatonga.
It was really good. It was, I don't know. It wasn't great, but it was really good and a lot of fun, which was something missing. The inclusion.
I'm giving it 5 stars.
The inclusion of the Lumberjack match, allowing this 3rd generation of Tenzan and Nagata,
the old guys,
people getting involved was fun. Throughout the match, Evil is like constantly doing. Evil first brings out a Tiger Mask t-shirt and then looks over at Tiger Mask and rips it in half, which I thought was a great bit. He does the Nagata knee lock or leg lock or whatever it's called, and then looks at Nagata while doing it. He does.
All right, I'm giving this 5 stars.
He does the Koji clutch, and then Tenzan gets on the apron. And he's like, "Hey, stop what you're doing." That's my move.
So what I'm hearing as someone that actually, if the Evil match is done right, which is a big if half the time, but if it's done right, and
which I'm a big defender of it doing right, I talk about there's a good chance that this would be done right.
And if the opponent is fitting for it, which I would argue Jon Moxley pretty good, I will be a very big fan of this match based off of just that, which I'm excited for. I'm very excited to watch this match now. Now I was already. Shout out the House of Torture, baby. Ryan is an evil mark. Damn right he is.
According to Jeff Buchenheim.
As we all, buddy. They call me the fan of darkness. I broke him again. They call me the fan of darkness. Shout out.
It was what I would describe as the House of Torture matches done right. That is what I would describe it as something that is, if you set this sort of circumstance of the interference and all these sort of things, and set up this idea and have the babyface overcome it, and this time you would have this 3rd generation versus this interference generation clash. If you set up all these sort of ideas, it really came together and allowed it to be a lot more fun. The voice of the tasteless and the fan of darkness, I think, is what we're moving forward. Those are our names. But setting up those ideas are what create good House of Torture matches. And the problem is that part of that you also need to have a crap ton of shitty ones.
Damn right, baby.
But this was fun.
I saw Evil turn babyface.
Did he turn babyface? I don't recall.
I thought he was going for Kadani, and that's a babyface to me.
I was going to say, I was like, wait a second. Other than that,
Evil stands for Rossy Ogawa. Sorry, continue.
Shingo Takagi versus Hinari went to a double countout draw. Hard-hitting affair. 14 minutes of just them bombing each other, and then it went to a double knockout draw.
Is this one of your good or great matches?
I thought it was 4. I went 4.
So is that?
There's a better one. There's a more Ryan better one in here.
That's it, Ishii.
It was New Japan World TV title match, Jeff Cobb versus Ishii. It starts, Scotty, with both of them running at each other and bombing each other immediately. And it's 12 minutes of them just bombing each other constantly. It was
the Ryan Knightsey special.
The Ryan Knightsey special. It felt like a lot of what Ishii has been doing this past year with like Masaki Amiya, and less so the most recent one, but like the beginning of the year of just like 10 to 15 minute match of just like kind of bombing each other and over again. And I like that one more than the Shingo Hinari one. IWGP tag team. You have a thought? I have 2 of the matches.
I get it. No, I'm understanding why you would like that more. I didn't see it, so I can't give too much thought.
Yeah. I would recommend it. It was probably of the 5 matches I saw, probably honestly my favorite, and that's a personal preference. I understand. I think there's way other matches. I think people could like Hinari Shingo more. I think people could like the main event more. I think these are all sort of fair. I
know I'm going to like the main event more.
IWGP Tag Team title, New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team title, 4-way elimination tornado match. TMDK get the win here. Mikey Nichols and Shane Hayes are able to win. They walk out with both belts. Team Dickey eliminated GOD. Bishamon eliminated Bullet Club, and then Team DK ultimately eliminated Bishamon. Pretty good match, I thought. I mean, like maybe a 3 1/4, 3.5, something like that. Pretty good.
Wait, who won?
TMDK, Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste.
Woo!
And the first
shout out to the Slapjack.
First people eliminated were GOD, when I believe El Phantasmo basically caused Hikuleo to get pinned and eliminated. So Hikuleo goes out on his back, and they sort of tease. Nothing physical happens, but they tease a breakup between Hikuleo and El Phantasmo following this match. Scotty
calling him.
Scotty, unrelated, pulling up a number 1 finger in the air.
Listen.
Unrelated, I'm sure.
Hiculeo's out of here. We all know it eventually. If it's not today, it's tomorrow.
You're telling me
not tomorrow.
They're bringing Hikuleo and Jacob Fatu?
Yeah.
They're bringing Hikuleo and Tangaloa before Jacob Fatu?
Yeah, come on now. It's fine. Whatever.
Totally fine. I think New Japan fans will be okay with this. But again, there's no partnership in place, so no one's truly upset about this. But also, that's the shitty wrestlers like Tagawa and
I was gonna say, buddy, no one is upset about any of those 3. Let's not act.
Well, that's also the thing is that like WWE can win these guys easily because AEW is like, oh no, thank you.
No, thank you.
They're able to win these free agents very easily.
Hey, Hikuleo got a lot better the past year.
That is true. I will.
And you're a big Tamatonga guy, so
big Tamatonga Tonga guy. Main event was great. Best of Super Juniors final match. Great match. El Desperado gets the win over Taiji Ishimori. 23 minutes and 36 seconds. Hard fought match between the 2 of them. I watched it right before we got on, so I'm still like processing it. But I thought it was a great match. Very emotional win with Despy getting the win. There was a great preview piece on the Voice of Wrestling website from Jay Michael about sort of their hidden rivalry, hidden behind the pandemic, and just sort of like having this happen in the main event of Dominion, and it's sort of establishing this, raising up the Best of Super Juniors to maybe more of a G1 climax moment where it's like, oh, we have an actual, big time spot, main event spot for the Best of Super Juniors. I think it was a nice little spot here.
Yeah, they had more people in attendance for this show than they did last year.
Yeah. And what was the main event last year?
Sonata versus the
Yoda
Blast guy.
Which is interesting. And Jay Michael talked about it in the preview. It was like that was Yoda Tsuji's first match since coming back was that match. So they're big upscaling. And here he sort of talks about how the past couple years, past 5 or so years, has sort of been Despy, Ishimori, and Hiromu.
Mm-hmm.
And Despy getting the win here does a lot for him, especially being arguably the third, maybe second on that tier in terms of push. And he talks about how
third most popular wrestler there.
Yeah, I would say for me, number one. But
in the company, he's top 3.
Yes, yeah, and at least when it comes to the juniors, definitely. I mean, they talk about top 3. These two.
I think it's Naito, Hiromu, Despy. That is your top 3 most popular wrestlers in the company.
That's probably true. That's probably
which speaks to why they should be leaning on juniors right now.
And another thing that for both of us forgot in the preview of this match is that
I never forget anything.
Ishimori has what I describe as Tam Nakano energy. This
is a big, prominent conversation you've used many times this week.
Yeah, as we sort of discussed, Pentagon energy, where we forget that, like, based on his semifinal in this match, I forget that Ishimori still has that next gear, and he just never goes to it.
Never has to.
But when he does have to, and he's into those big spots, the semifinals and the finals, he is amazing. He is such a great
Taiji Ishimori.
Yeah. White tights, white eyes, Taiji Ishimori.
Oh, yeah, white tights?
Yes, white tights, and he had contacts of white eyes too, so it was baller.
I'm excited.
It was a great match. It was a great finals. It was totally worth it. Totally worth being here in the main event. It was not really worked like a junior classic. Not at all worked like last year with Teton and Master Wato, like the sort of like next stage, but it was worked like a sort of classic main event New Japan style match here at 23 minutes.
So what you're telling me is that this was the rightful main event.
Rightful main event for sure. I'm glad that Despy got the win. As a Despy fan, I'm a big fan of Despy getting the win. And as Jay Michael sort of laid out, and I sort of convinced me of that article, and that's why I'm bringing it up, is that this feels like to Jay Michael, and he convinced me, the sort of start of the waning days of this sort of generation of juniors of Hiromu, Ishimori, and Despy. That we are closing out the books on these guys as we transition into Wato's, Akira's, Teton's, transition to this next sort of group. Fujita, yes, out. Yep. As we transition to this next sort of wave of juniors.
All right, so here's my take, despite not watching the match. El Desperado is the best wrestler in New Japan right now.
Probably.
In terms of my investment, in terms of my interest levels, I don't know if anyone comes close to him. Consistency off the charts. There's a reason he was in so many of the best and Super Junior main events. There's a reason he's running his own damn show tomorrow.
Correct.
That's probably like going to be a great Korakuen number.
And a History Vortex show as well.
My hot take, I would keep having Desperado junior matches, main event, big shows. I think that is something that will benefit New Japan. If you have the right opponent, if you have a Hiromu, obviously at main events, if you have, if you run back Ishimori down the line, that should main event. You run Teton, that should main event. Hell, you run Doki. Okay, I'm assuming Desperado's winning the title from Show.
That's my read as well. Is that it definitely feels like you gotta have Despy win the title.
I don't hate the title change anymore, by the way, if he's winning it back, because I like him winning the best of Super Juniors.
Agreed. And it feels like that's the natural next spot is him winning the title off a Show right now.
Yeah, and he should have a real reign. A real one for once, please.
A non-pandemic reign.
Yeah. What else happened on the show? No, that was newsworthy.
Obviously, I don't know what happened in the first 4, but we'll talk about that. I don't know if we'll talk about it again. The first 4 are nothing too great. Other than if you want some title switches, Bushi, Hiromu, and Yota Tsuji win the never openweight 6-man tag titles off of Tanahashi, Bolton, and Yano.
Ryan, Yota Tsuji's finally got a belt.
I know. First one.
No.
First.
Oh, no.
Yeah, out of Ren Narita, Shota.
Ren Narita had the trios belts already.
You're right. I don't remember that.
Shota Umino is officially the last of the 4, though, to get a belt, because you may forget Yuya Uemura has held the KOPW championship.
That is true. Until today, because Great-O-Khan beat Yuya Uemura for that title.
In a pure rules match. I looked at the rules.
Yeah.
Do you know how much I hate pure rules?
Mm-hmm.
Making me watch those two do pure rules? Oh, God.
TMDK defeated the Bullet Club War Dogs plus LJ Cleary. And yeah, I don't know why. And Tetsuya Naito defeated Callum Newman, which, if you want more newsworthy, Naito then came out to challenge Moxley at Forbidden Door for the IWGP World title.
I remember someone saying that would happen on this show, and I can't figure out who it was. Ryan, do you happen to remember? It was the Fan of Darkness himself, me.
I was a little too early on that one. I predicted Evil at House of Forbidden Door.
Yeah, you were one step ahead.
Instead, it was New Japan's big show.
Yeah. Well, Evil House Torture. They have to help Jack Perry win a title, so that's more important.
Oh my God! If they do the TNT ladder match and then halfway during the match, all of House of Torture come down, beat up everyone, and Jack Perry wins,
it's perfect.
You should do a qualifying match with like Kanemaru versus somebody, and then Kanemaru's in the match or something.
Ooh, yeah.
It should be Doki. All right, Doki's just 5 guys. It'll probably be Ren Narita.
It should be Yujiro.
Now we're talking, baby.
Yujiro in a ladder match.
I don't think his body can handle it.
No, it can't. All right. So Forbidden Door now.
No, sorry. The other big thing I want to just mention real quick is they did not announce the G1 Climax participants as we expected. They'll be at New Japan Seoul Night 1. But they did announce that it's going to be 2 blocks of 10. There are 2 people in each. There's 1 person in each block, so 2 people total that are TBD that are going to be playing matches, I believe. And that there's a new playoff system where the top 3 wrestlers of each block will then go into the playoffs, where 2 and 3, I believe, face each other, and then they face 1. The winner of that faces 1, and then those winners face each other, and then that's the winner of the G1 Climax.
Never thought I'd see this day where the G1 was fixed. My interest in the G1 went from a 1 this year, a 1, Ryan, to a 7. Because of the block change. Now, when they announce Chase Owens for it, it will go back down to a 2. But for now, we will act like he's not. I like the playoff thing. I think that's interesting.
It's a little convoluted, but I think it's one of those things of I need to see how it plays out to really judge.
I love the semifinal matches
in
Best of Super Juniors. So it's kind of like that, just an extra step. Which I don't know if we needed the extra step, but I'm with it. I love the 2 blocks being back.
Not just 2 blocks, 2 blocks of 10. So 20 wrestlers total.
It's beautiful. It's perfect.
When was the last time they had 20 wrestlers?
2020?
2021, maybe?
2021?
Looking it up.
That sounds right.
I'm looking it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 2021.
Man, it's been a long road to get back here.
2022 was 28. 2023 was 32. And now we're back to 20.
That means you got to make cuts. You got to have the best of the best. All right. You know what? Let's play a little game here. I know we're long. I don't give a shit.
We have music. Do we have music?
So we get 20 people.
Oh, we have music.
Yeah.
What's your game?
We're gonna fill the blocks.
Oh, okay. I need to look up the.
Okay.
Hold on.
No, I got it right here.
Thank God, I cannot go to the New Japan website right now.
So let me say this to you, and you count for me, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna do the locks. All right, we're gonna do the locks first. Tetsuya Naito,
Lock.
David Finlay,
Lock.
Sonata,
Lock.
Evil,
Lock.
Shota Umino,
Lock.
Yota Tsuji.
Well, Shota Umino, I would say lock.
He's gonna be in it. Like, why
No,
you don't do
no,
the
but there's something to this idea of like Tanahashi being like the young wrestlers have to win their way in, and that could just be the TBDs and stuff. But like, I wonder if they
Oleg's
do.
gonna be one of those guys.
Yeah, like I wonder if they. I agree. I think it could be Bolton Oleg. I think Shota Umino is too established to be like considered as a young guy. I think Bolton Oleg is where that thing. But I also like the idea of like one of them losing a play-in match and then not being the G1 at all, and that would be fascinating to me.
Yeah,
So where are we at? I think we're at 5.
5. So that's Naito, Finlay, Sonata, Yasuji, Umino. Right? That's 5.
Yeah.
Shingo Takagi,
6.
Zack Sabre Jr.
7.
Thinking who I want to put next. Jeff Cobb.
8.
I'm trying to think of all the champions. I feel like that's important. Not John Moxley, obviously. I don't think Ishii's a lock. I don't think Great Khan's a lock.
He's a champion.
He is a champion, but he's Great Khan. So I don't feel confident about saying him yet. Let me look at the
I got some names.
El Phantasmo.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Did I say Shingo? Hanare. Probably Tanahashi.
I don't know about Tanahashi. With less people, Tana doesn't have to be in it.
If I'm Tanahashi, I wouldn't want to be in it with my knees.
So
Wrestling 9 matches.
Let's go through. We had 8 people. Let's just go through and pick some people. We had Evil. I think we already said is a lock.
Taichi.
Lock. Taichi's a lock.
He better be.
Yeah. Great Khan, I think, is a lock because he's a champion now. Hanare, I think, is going to be a lock.
Gabe Kidd.
Lock. I would lock in Gabe Kidd.
Ren Narita.
Probably a lock.
I think he's a lock. I think Yuya is the one you look at and like. I think all 4 will be in. Truthfully,
Kenta and/or Chase Owens.
I think one of them will probably at least not be in it. I would like if neither were in it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they should be trying to redeem themselves. I'm going to put one AEW in.
By the way, what Ishii, a guy that was planning not to be in it a couple years ago. I don't think he's in.
I don't think he's in.
I like the idea of Ishii losing a play-in.
I think that's a good idea. He should lose to like someone young.
And I don't think we said it, but Yota Tsuji lock.
We did say it. We said him and Shota together.
What about Goto Yoshihashi?
They should be in because half the time they're the best parts.
Yeah.
Or at least Yoshihashi was. And Goto. Yeah. So, okay. So I think that brings us to what? 16?
I don't know, maybe.
Or so.
I'm counting at a certain point.
So I think the idea is they're going to have one outside talent from another Japanese company and then one from AEW.
I think that's I'd say that's totally plausible. At least one from an outside Japanese, at least one.
And I will pay them $100 to pick someone from CMLL.
Who would be from CMLL? Hechicero?
The guy that signed a year deal with them and hasn't wrestled once, Soberano Jr. Atlantis Jr.
Yeah. Hechicero again. Hechicero.
Gran Guerrero, world champion. No.
Ultimo Guerrero. He can't do it. If Tanahashi's out.
Stuka Jr. Give me Stuka Jr. Stuka Jr. rules. Okay. I think this could be a good block this year. Now, am I assuming or hoping Chase Owens is in it? Correct.
Yeah, and I think it's plausible.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now let's finish the show.
Well, AEW talent, Japanese talent. Do you have any sort of guesses who you would like?
Okay. AEW talent. My
Classic AEW roster page.
my crazy pick, Claudio Castagnoli, because he said he wanted to do it.
Yeah. Well, no, my crazy pick is Pentagon. My crazy pick is Pentagon. That's the crazy pick.
Because
I think a plausible pick is Claudio.
See, I don't know that because I say crazy as in Tony Khan doesn't want to lose people, even though he doesn't need Claudio for a month. I think he'd be fine. Just like he lost Eddie Kingston for a month. So I'm gonna go.
Pick? Well, here's a crazy pick. Big Bill.
We did this last year. It's not happening.
I know, but it would be crazy. It would be crazy.
All right, I'm gonna go Claudio as one potentially. I think that's a good one. Yeah, do you agree?
Yeah.
I think we would all be happy if Claudio stepped into this.
Yes.
Yes. I think it would be like not a single complaint. Another pick I have, which
what about Brody King?
Yes, I think that's a great one.
Would that take too much out of Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black being left over to be on television?
Dude, they just won't be on television. That's the secret. I think those two might actually be the favorite picks. Like, it makes sense. I think Brody King rules. Brody King has a history in New Japan a little bit. He was on a lot of strong shows once upon a time.
Yeah.
I think they wanted him to sign, actually, at one point, but AEW came calling and ruined that. I would be very happy with Claudio. That's who I'm hoping for. That's my Eddie Kingston of this year.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? They won't do it, but should bring back the scapegoat.
They won't do it. They won't do it, but Shibata. I'll take Okada in the G1. Hot take, maybe.
Will Ospreay.
I think he would do pretty well with G1.
Oh, actual pick, Kyle O'Reilly.
I don't know.
Be interested in that.
Would they consider him a heavyweight because he's a former junior heavyweight champion? I think.
Yeah,
right?
We can lie. I mean, I think he's heavyweight now. Anyways,
you know what? If you want to be super bold, Takeshita. Super bold. Japanese pick. Japanese pick, but also AEW pick. Takeshita.
I like that. Okay. I could live with that. I can live with those picks. In terms of the Japanese wrestler.
Well, I just have a couple other names that could be fun. Mark Briscoe.
I don't think he'll leave for a month. I don't think he'll leave his family.
No, because he's got the Ring of Honor show that's happening.
And he has 100 kids.
Also true. He has 1 billion kids. Good for him. Like I said, Pentagon would be fun. Phoenix could be fun.
I'll cry if it's Trent.
I will not accept it, Trent.
Lance Archer, we shouldn't ignore.
Danielson get put in. I don't think Danielson's getting put in.
I don't think Tony Khan could live without Bryan Danielson for a month.
I agree. Hassan says Claudio Yuta, or I think Yuta's too small. I think they're going to get Simba Jr., but Sammy Guevara, I'm good.
We could pack up the company.
Again, like Pentagon, Roosh. Throw a Roosh into a G1. Yes, baby.
They don't deserve Rock Hard Juice Robinson, so I'm not going to say him.
Who'd be a good AEW pick that you do not need on television right now at all? That could use
everyone we just said.
That could use the help of the G1 in terms of getting better, potentially, hopefully. That you don't really need on television. Wardlow. I know. You can't deny that would help him, and you don't need him on TV at all.
There's no helping him. It's over. It's over.
It's over, he says.
Couldn't be more over.
Also, when we eventually talk about the 5-star, we're going to have the same conversation with AEW women's talent.
Fuck no. They already have too much talent to put it. No, we won't have that conversation. Here's why. Because they're doing 12 total dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a month.
Yes.
Span. They have to cut it down to like 16 to make it work.
Okay. Look, it's not like they're going to have they're not going to have Anna Jay on television.
They have too many people on the roster. New Japan, see, this is the thing with New Japan. New Japan doesn't have enough to fill 20. They don't. That's interesting. They have enough. but they just don't have that. So that's why we're doing these AEW guys.
Well,
in terms of the Japanese talent, what?
Stardom will be owned by New Japan at that point. So I don't know.
I'm gonna kill you.
In terms of Japanese talent,
I'm gonna come through the screen and destroy you.
In terms of Japanese talent, Noah, if you had to pick someone from Noah, I mean,
Masaki Tamiya.
Yes.
He beats Ishii at All Together, and that gives him the spot.
Ooh. Yes. Or Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.
AAA.
I guess that's true.
That's the only reason I didn't say him.
That's true. Masakimi, I think that's a great shout. All Japan, not an all together, but maybe they do an All Japan guy. Like a Yuma Awagi.
Maybe
with him.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it'd be good. He's good. He's great.
Dragon Gate will just be like someone they beat like a drum. DDT would probably just be someone they beat like a drum.
Unless it's Takeshita.
Glee.
I'm in on Masaki Tamiya. I don't know about you.
I think when you said that with him beating Ishii, I think that 100% makes sense. 100% makes a lot more sense. So I can agree with that.
What happened to Manabu Soya?
All right.
What happened to him?
I don't know.
He was like red hot and then he disappeared. He must be hurt.
I don't know, actually. What about Segura in the G1?
Oh my god, that'd be incredible.
I believe he's been in the G1.
He doesn't want to be in the N1 anymore, so he said, "I'll be in the G1."
That's a politic if I've ever seen one. I want to say he's been in a G1 before. Yes, he was in 2009, where he was he went into the semifinals. Let's see, who was his?
Run it back.
Togi Makabe, who was the winner that year against Takeshi Sugiura. 2009. Run it back.
Run it back.
The only other thing about New Japan is that they have New Japan Soul, which is the name of a new tour happening. Night 1 has some events on it. I have to figure out the New Japan website to figure out how to get there. So I gotta do this. Oh wait, and then there's no match card, and then I have to find the news article. 2 matches announced. New Japan Soul. This is going to be night 16. Sorry, not night 16. June 16th. This will also be the date where they announce the G1 Climax participants. So we will talk about that. I believe next week. Yes, next week. They have IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. David Finlay defending his title against Sonata, a sort of New Japan Cup rematch sort of things. And then the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles. TMDK, Robbie Eagles, and Kosei Fujita challenging Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney.
Ooh.
Being taken on the 16th. Yes, I'm really interested about that second one. I think that should be very good. And I think there's a good chance that they're going to belt up Eagles and Fujita.
Sonata versus David Finlay might be the most anti-Ryan match I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah. So, I mean, we've gone 2.5. The only other topic here I had on the run sheet was the Noah Grand Ship preview. If we want to talk about that real quickly.
Nope.
Well, I will mention that show is happening next week as well. We probably won't discuss it because
why?
Because it's happening the morning before, just like Dominion, the morning before.
I thought it was on Saturday.
No, it is on Sunday, and Saturday is all together.
Oh, I see. All right, we'll talk about. We have plenty to talk about.
Yeah. But just to point out, this is the match. This is the show that has Kaito Kiyomiya versus Gabe Kidd for the GHC Heavyweight title match. Tag titles is Jack Morris and Anthony Green versus Naomichi Marufuji and Takeshi Sugiura. And a GHC Junior Heavyweight title match between Daga and Starboy Charlie.
Tune back in next week to hear our thoughts on TNA Against All Odds.
Yes, we did not preview TNA Against All Odds because I'm not too interested in TNA at the moment.
You're so interested in TNA. Tonal nonstop, Ryan.
But we also didn't talk about NXT, two things that are happening in the world of wrestling right now that are pretty big, I guess.
Isn't NXT today?
NXT is tonight, so that's why I don't want to really delve into it. Unless you want to talk about NXT Battleground real quickly.
No, I'm good.
I'm always down to talk about a little NXT action or something.
No, you're not.
We also talked about Against All Odds, I believe, last week a little bit. And the only thing
it's terrible.
They've only added 2 matches since, and it's Mike Santana and Steve Macklin, who are feuding and are now a tag team versus the Rascals. And then a TNA Knockouts World Championship Open Challenge from Jordan Grace. And many online believe it will be NXT's Tatum Paxley.
All right.
NXT's Tatum, a real person's name, Paxley, real person's last name. Get into it.
I will review Jordan Grace's Open Challenge next week.
That's a promise.
That's a promise to everyone.
Writing it on the run sheet. Jordan Grace, TNA.
The Fan of Darkness reviews Jordan Grace versus NXT talent.
I'm writing on the run sheet. It's there. He's locked in. It's happening. Other things.
Ryan will tell you why you should not watch NWA Crockett Cup.
Oh, I'm not watching it.
Sure.
I'm definitely not.
I didn't even know what happened. I just saw it pop up on my screen the other day. I was like, oh, cool. Great.
So next week, we'll review Clash of the Castle Scotland, possibly Against All Odds, and then New Japan Soul Night 1 and Grand Ship will happen that morning. So we'll see if we talk about any of that. And then I don't have any sort of other previews beyond that. So it's going to be an interesting week next week. But should be fun.
Hold on.
We'll get the G1 Climax participants as well. So
we'll have to we'll have to preview Stardom: The Conversion.
Oh, what is that show?
That is their new pay-per-view.
The Conversion.
It has 5 matches so far. It has Micah versus Xena, the Lioness challengers for the World Championship.
Don't preview it. We'll talk about it next week. We're gonna
okay. Well, you asked me what that card is. I'm telling you the card.
Good point. You got
all right. I won't say.
You do have me there. You do have me there.
Also, we should have news following the Marigold Korakuen on Tuesday this week.
Oh, the Korakuen's this Tuesday. Okay, great. That should be interesting. Do we have an expectation of what that news is?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have the setup for the titles for this is the last Korakuen before the Sumo Hall show. So I assume a lot of news.
Very good. So we'll talk about all that. We'll catch up on Marigold next week as well.
Lots to talk about. We're fine. We're fine.
We're fine.
And then the week after that, we're previewing Forbidden Door.
Oh my God. We are. It's around the corner, around the bend. And of course not that week. The week after we'll be reviewing Forbidden Door and previewing Money in the Bank. Get into it.
Well, we review Forbidden Door live after.
Correct. Which we've been doing more of those. We've been doing the reviews like live on YouTube straight up, and they've been doing big numbers on YouTube. Do you feel like we should do more of those? Because like it feels like they do big numbers, but it's also like, how do we do more? And the more I only can think of is like WWE, which I'm not too intrigued about doing unless we do like big WWE shows, which we did with WrestleMania, to be fair.
If we do the big 4,
WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series.
Yeah, I guess Survivor Series is the 4th one now.
Yeah, Money in the Bank is kind of 5th. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we could. There's conversation of that. Would people be interested in more? I mean, there's definitely interest on views on YouTube of like, oh, this looks like we need to do more of this. But I also don't want to I don't want to take too much off of Ring Post Radio proper. So that's also part of it too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, we wouldn't add much more than say WWE. So, because I don't know what else live review would be interesting to people. I mean, we could do like a Ring of Honor one for Death Before Dishonor. Try that.
Dude, there's got 3 of those. 3 of those out here.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
That's true.
And it's on like a Friday night or something, so it's not harmful for us waking up the next day. which is nice.
I didn't think about that, but we could do a Ring of Honor. And then
Well,
because otherwise we'll just do what we also typically do, which is like if it does happen on a Saturday, we just shove it to Ring Post Radio.
Yeah, that's why the WWE ones are hard.
Yeah, that is true.
We'll think about it. We'll think of some more live reviews because clearly people will enjoy those.
Yeah. If people have any thoughts on those in the chat, because I know
we should have said that at the beginning.
Yeah, and I know there are people in the chat right now that have been a part of those live immediate reviews from us. So I would love to know if they would be interested in more of that kind of content based on like viewership alone and number of views and stuff on those episodes. It's definitely like, oh, there's definite interest and we should do more of those. So but I would love to know what people in the comments and all this sort of stuff, what your thoughts are. But you can let us know either in the comment section of this or on Twitter at Ryan Knightsey, at Scott E Wrestling, the whole network at CountOutPod. Let us know for sure. Follow us there. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you get it. If you came in halfway through and you want to listen to the rest of this, there'll be the YouTube archive, obviously, and then obviously will be the audio version that you can listen to. Audio version of the podcast. It's weird because it's like we're doing a podcast, but really at this point we're like a weekly stream, and then the podcast is like our archives. That's weirdly a weird way to think about it, but that's kind of where we are at this point. Scotty, any plugs? Match of the weeks.
Stardom Road. Like I said, check it out. This week, Tuesday, be up on YouTube. Podcast feed. I recommend checking out the YouTube because you can watch the tier list. It's always a little bit more fun. We were talking, like I said, red belt champions in the history. So we rank every single one. Who's the best world champions? Who's the worst? Yada, yada, yada. So that's a lot of fun. Me and Trent did that. We'll also be back.
Should be said, the YouTube is this YouTube channel that you're watching on right now. Subscribe to this YouTube channel right now. Stardom Road's coming out this Tuesday.
Yes. Let's see. This week, since Marigold has a big thing, I will be doing not a live, but I will be putting up a video on Tuesday following all the big news for my 5-star show. So if you are interested in that, immediate thoughts, check that out. You can just follow my Twitter at Scott E Wrestling on Twitter. Match of the week. It's a good question. Marigold had some good matches this past week. New Japan had some good matches this past week. But I'm going to... Can I cheat? Can I do a current match and an old match?
Sure.
Is that cool with you? I don't watch enough old matches, so I feel like I should be allowed to do this.
Yeah.
Like you watch a lot of old matches and you get to do it.
Yeah.
So
old matches are always on the table.
From Marigold's show this past Sunday, which got uploaded on Thursday, Utami Hayashishita and Victoria Yuzuki versus Miku Ano and Natsumi Shoseki was very good. Good way to lead into the Corkin. And in terms of old matches, I watched 3 old matches this week. All very good. All very random. One happened in Ice Ribbon, one happened in Michinoku Pro, and the other happened in All Japan Women's. I will go with the All Japan Women's this time. It was Toshio Yamada versus Yumika Hoda. They kicked each other in the head an unhealthy amount of times. It was from 1994.
Oh,
it was great. Had a great time. It was very vicious. I thought someone was going to get knocked out.
Do you got a link?
Oh, yeah, it's on YouTube. I do have a link.
Slap your boy a little link over there because
it was fun. It was like it was a match that someone put on. Shout out Dylan, who listens to the show. He put it on, and I was like, all right, I'll watch this. And they kicked each other in the head. It was great. Had a good time. So check that out as well. Kick it over to you, Ryan.
Like I said, I gave all the plugs. My match of the week. We talked about it, but also didn't talk about it. Semifinal match, El Desperado versus Doki for the Best of Super Juniors semifinals. I thought it was a great match. I went 4 1/4 on it. I loved it. That was great. Like a great babyface performance from Doki, despite both.
We freaking love Doki.
I love Doki, man. I'm a big Doki guy. You know what I'm saying?
The day Doki wins that junior heavyweight, I think he's going to get it someday now. The day he gets it, I will cry.
The irony of like Doki is that like he came into the company 5 years ago as a replacement for El Desperado, and I think Doki is like El Desperado 5 years ago. If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
a guy that's like always around, always putting in great performances nowadays, and should soon be a top guy, but not yet.
and the crowd loves him.
The crowd loves him. He's like on the cusp maybe of being part of that next crop.
We love the Doki Choki.
Oh yeah, I think it was this match where it had unveiled the ropey chokey, which of course Doki Choki on the ropes. Great match, great match. And I think, like I said, I think Doki's
Doki's only 32.
Oh my god, that's here's the thing. I have no idea how old Doki is. I have no concept. Doki is ageless to me. But also, I have like zero interest in watching any pre-New Japan Doki match.
Oh, you don't want to watch him in IWRG?
Is that where he worked beforehand?
Yeah.
I have no interest in watching any IWRG matches.
And Toryumon?
Well, Toryumon could be interesting. But no. Yeah.
You only like all caps Doki. It wasn't all caps Doki back then.
Hold on. Here we go. This is what we're talking about. 2018, May 26, 2018. If we were still doing, Ryan hasn't seen anything, this is the match. Toryumon Mexico, Dragon Mania 13. Ready?
Yeah.
Doki. Zeus.
Yeah.
From All Japan. Well, now Osaka Pro. Zeus. Musashi.
Okay.
Jun Akiyama.
Okay, that's awesome. That's an awesome team.
On the other side, people that don't have cage match profiles, Vapor, and La Migra. And then Vinny Massaro.
Okay.
And Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
I need this match in my life. I need this match in my life.
This is fourth match from the top.
No wonder why Doki and Jack Perry had such an incredible match last year on
They've
Rampage.
worked each other before, apparently.
They knew what was up. That match was ruled. They should run that back.
It's pretty.
Oh man,
that's pretty wild.
Let's end the show. We're almost at 3 hours. I want to go to bed.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, yeah. Thank you everybody for listening to this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. I think I might have found the video, and I'll double check and I'll send it to you if I do. This could be it. A 2-minute file, a 2-hour file. I mean, this could be it. Yep, that's Vinny Massaro and Jun Akiyama. That's Jungle Boy. I found it. Found the match. Oh, Zeus is flexing. That's like Doki's entrance. I found it. This is it. I found it undoubtedly. Thank you everybody for listening to this week's episode of Ring Poster Radio. What an ending. We thank you everybody. We'll see you all next week.
Wait a minute. We forgot something.
How do we forget? We went almost 3 hours. How do we forget something?
Fuck, Mary, kill Zeus, Doki, Jack Perry. Doki, Zeus, Jack Perry, go!
Walking Jack Perry, marrying Doki, killing Zeus. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week on Ring Post Radio. Goodbye, everybody.